Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. We want black power. 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 We don't have to be ashamed of it.
This is not the regular, this is that boom, blah, blah, blah. Some may call it secular, I just call it black, black, black. Marcus Garvey, Book McDotty, bring that army, black, black, black. Malcolm X and Kwame Ture, this is where I'm at. If you wanna talk to me about black, black, black. Haile Selassie the first, Negus Nagas, let's talk about that. Kaboom, Yanni Maroon and all the Maroons, let's talk about that. The real Underground Railroad. The first subway for black. The freedom train begins with your brain. Get in on track. Whether justice or injustice, how do you react? Can you stand there laughing when they shoot us in the black? This is what some rappers sound like every time they rap. I'm raising up the red and the green and the black. Even with no cops in the hood, we still hear click, clack. I cannot forget my ancestors just because I rap. Look at me from top to bottom. KRS is black. Get up, get out, speak out, reach out. This is what black about. Get up, get out, speak out, reach out. This is what I rap about. Get up, get out, speak out, reach out. Too many selling out. Get up, get out, reach out, lift out. Get out. Time to ask the question now. Are you really black? It is not a mystery. We under attack. If you're chatting for free, you hold our people back. Time to put aside the fantasy and deal with fact. This is not the time to be talking all that crap. Those that talk that crap, or those that don't fight back. You can say what you like, but real skill, I never lack. Black is more a consciousness, the way you think and act. Yo, get up, get out, speak out, reach out. This is what black about. Get up, get out, speak out. Reach out. This is what I rap about. Get up, get out, speak out, reach out. Too many selling out. Get up, get out, reach out, lift out, get out, lights out.
We have stayed here and we begged the president. We begged the federal government. That's all we've been doing, begging. It's time we stand up and take over. We have to do what every group in this country did. We got to take over the communities where we outnumber people so we can have decent jobs, so we can have decent houses, so we can have decent roads, so we can have decent schools, so we can have decent justice.
Hotel family, it's your RBG brother, Guy Hollywood Jr., coming to you with another exclusive program. Let me put this in it, let everybody know. Forgot to even put my banner in here. There you go. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Keith Winston. Hotep to you, brother. Hope you're tuning in. It's going to be a little interesting. I got some things I want to just get off my chest. And it's so funny. Hopefully my brother Forecast and Bricari come and join in. I'm waiting for those guys, waiting for them brothers. As you can see, let people know that yesterday was my birthday, and I'm really grateful to see another year. I'm really grateful. Family and friends really showed me some love on my birthday. So I just try to stay youthful, stay healthy, and just stay fighting. Stay strong. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing. That's a good thing. I wanted to talk about this Joe Biden cat because black folks, some of our people is just in Wonderland when it comes down to certain issues. When I went to Jersey, and of course, people want to, politics came up. I don't know. It's just this big stereotype about black people, right? These three stereotypes that I noticed that black people carry to this day, and which is part of the slave laws. Three things I do notice that black people still hold is that, number one, you got to be a Christian. You got to be a Christian. That you got to be a 100% Christian. Now, personally, I don't have a problem whatever floats your boat as far as any religion, and if it makes you a better person, I can't argue with that. But I will say this: I think it's very disrespectful if you start pushing that on people that you think that might be a Christian too. Okay, I got my brother on here. What's up, Brother Bakar? So,
hey, go look and see if you can. Let me get the mic.
Bro, I'm gonna put you on mute. Brother. So, again, I don't have no problem. Whatever floats your boat as far as your religion. I think it's very disrespectful if you start pushing that on other people that you never ask. Hey, what's up, Forecast? I'm waiting on you, brother. You got the link. I emailed you the link. So I have a problem with that. I have a problem when people push their religion on other people, and they just assume that because you're black, you're a Christian. If you're black, you believe in this white Jesus or whatever the case is. I think it's very disrespectful. At least ask first to find out. But there's this big stereotype that, number one, if you're black, you got to be a Christian. Number two, you got to be a hardcore Democrat. Right? You got to be a hardcore Democrat. And number three, you got to love everybody. You can't just love your race. You got to love everybody. You got to include everybody. And to me, these are one of the slave laws that was been pushed on us. We got to keep it a buck. We got to keep it 100. So I was in Jersey, chopping up with these brothers, and boy, the self-hate that I've heard from these Negroes, the self-hate. One dude told me, "Oh well, And that's another thing I don't like too, right? When you start talking about Joe Biden and you tell him all his flaws, the first thing these Negroes always say, well, what about Trump? Well, Trump is not in office. Trump is not in office. Because that's what they said to me when I criticized Barack Obama. Oh, Barack Obama is not president. But Trump is not in office. I'm talking about the current president right now. So, okay, I got my brother Forecast here. So, peace Forecast. Glad you joined me. It's going to be a good discussion. So I just want to just get this out the way, and then I'm going to start doing some screen sharing, and then I want to hear y'all thoughts and everything. But I just want to get this out real quick. So one dude tell me, oh, well, one dude said, you sound like a Republican. I said, no, I'm not a Republican. Why I got to be Republican? Because I disagree on his Democrat garbage. Because I disagree with Obama. I disagree with, you sound like a. So I said, you know what? He said, oh, what party are you? I said, well, I'm independent. Feel like that. That's something that you can understand. Well, you sound like a Republican. And one dude, he started talking about God. Oh, well, God, this and that. Other dude tells me, well, Barack Obama, there was nothing he can do because the Republicans, anything that he tried to do for, the Republicans, I said, so what did he try to do that the Republicans stopped? I didn't get no answer from that. Then they talking about, oh, Barack Obama, he's a black man. And it's so funny about these FBAs and these so-called descended of slaves born in America. All these, it's so funny about these cats. About Barack Obama is this black man. But they don't like African people. How's that work? How's that work? You don't like African people. You know Barack Obama, his father was African, from Africa, and his mother was European American. But these are so-called FBAs. These are so-called Black Americans. But they don't like African people, but they hold Barack Obama as this great leader. I'm a little confused with that. But to put the icing on the cake, one dude tells me, well, we have to vote for somebody. Who you think should be who you think would have been a better president? Trump? Here come Trump again. So I said, no. I said, what about voting for your interests? None of these presidents is the best interest of African people in this country. But this Negro said, well, Barack Obama, I did good under Barack Obama. I said, oh, so you did good under Barack Obama, but fuck everybody else. Damn everybody else, because I didn't do good under Barack Obama. Actually, it got worse under his presidency. Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, King. So this brother, he's telling me, well, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. Now I know my brother Forecast could notice this, and I know brother Bakari noticed this. I know my brother Keith Whiston can vouch for this. Those are what you call white talking points. Those are what you call white talking points. I don't go by white talking points. See, white people came up with this, where if you don't vote for me, you don't have a voice. That's strange because Black Lives Matter started under Barack Obama, was created Uncle Obama, right? Or, well, I would say the Obama administration. The Black Lives Matter movement, they protest, they marched. But guess what? Innocent, unarmed black men and women and children were still getting killed by white extremists. They were still getting killed. So where's the voice? Where's this voice that you claim that you have? So I realize it's not that you have a voice. It's all about who's going to hear you. You can scream and yell, oh, Black Lives Matter, stop killing us, da 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 da. But then you get the same results. Nobody's not hearing you. Everybody's like, la, 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 la. Everybody got that. Nobody's not trying to hear you. But they had a voice. They voted this man in office. They had a voice. But but no protection, nothing, no results came out of that. They wasn't even being heard. So I told the brother, I said, well, just hold your vote. Just hold it. Let them earn your vote. Let them, I don't care if they have to buy your vote. Hold your vote. I can't do that. I gotta vote. I gotta vote for the lesser of two evils. I said, well, evil is evil. And if you vote for evil, you're not going to gain from that. You won't gain for that. Maybe you maybe, like you said, you might get lucky, but the majority of us is not going to be lucky. And I realize, hey, hold up, Catherine. How you doing, sister? How you doing, sister? I'm glad you joined us. But the majority of us are still in the same. Thanks for sharing, sister. Thank you. I appreciate it. But the majority of us are still struggling. We haven't gained from Barack Obama. Trump, people keep saying Trump is a racist. Trump said he was a racist. He said, I'm the least racist. What does least mean? That means a small amount. That means least means a small amount. Look it up if you don't believe me. He said, I'm the least racist. He was honest. When you have this pedophile Joe Biden, he's not going to say I'm the most racist. And he proved that he was racist. He proved it time and time again. So when you start, and I'm going to show you, screen share some things, and I'm going to tell these black liberals that you voted for this. You voted for Biden to become president. So everything Biden have done, you voted for that. You cannot get mad, and you cannot bring up Trump and stop saying that you love your people. That's a damn lie. Tired of that. So I'm going to screen share this. Let me screen share those black Democrat liberals that you voted a pedophile in office as your president. I'm going to screen share this. I'm going to screen share this to prove that those so-called black Democrat liberals voted a pedophile in office. Let me screen share this real quick. And I'm going to let my brothers respond to this before I go to the next screen share. Here we go. Okay, let me see what this is. This is, okay. Okay, let me screen share this real quick. Oh, shit. Damn. Now, I want you to see this. I want y'all to see this because this is what the black Democrat liberals voted for. You voted a pervert, sexual predator, pedophile in office. My sister said, "You are no joke." That's right, sister. That's right. I don't play. I got to keep it 100. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of this. I got to show my people a little tough love here. That's my girl, Catherine. Oh, sure. That's right. I want to show y'all this. And I'm gonna let my brother speak.
Trust and confidence. I've got a lot of thanks to give out here. First and foremost, to my perfect wife.
Can I just
We met before. It's hard to forget those eyes.
Oh, wait, no, come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Right, so we'll
Right
five.
over here. There we go. You can put it away if you want. Remember what you said to my mom? That was wonderful. My mom loved it.
A minute, Angel. Do you want to hold it? Here, lollipop. It's gonna.
Got us all.
Just look at the camera. And you're gonna have lollipop.
Keep going. You're gonna stand right next to me. There you go. And then we're gonna have.
There you go.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, and the people in the back, you're gonna spread out a little bit.
Wow.
You remember what I told you? No, not smile. No date till you're 30. Hey, Angel, how old are you? You're 12. What's your name? How are you? The problem is, you guys, you got a hard time. All right, sister. I like kids better than people.
Yeah. That's nice of you.
Do you know what my dad used to say? His granddaughters have one important job.
All right. Y'all saw for yourself. My sister Catherine said, wow. Okay? That's what hey, what's going on, Blue? Sister Blue, what's good? Hotel. Cool Cutter, what's good? That's my brother Cool Cutter, the pseudo killer. Yeah. That's what the black Democrat liberals voted for. This is what they voted for. So I'm gonna let my brother speak, starting Brother Bakari, then I'll let Forecast speak on that. Because that's kind of creepy. Very creepy. But this is what black people prefer. This is what they want in office. So, Brother Bakari, any thoughts of that?
Of Joe Biden, look like he rubbing on those little girls. You know, my thing is, right, for me, I think when we vote and we talking about voting, now, honestly, we really have to think about what's going to be best for us. It's almost to the point where we're trained, right? We're domesticated, right? And we just automatically vote Democrat because of past. But even when you look at the past, Democrat hadn't done anything. So we just have to look and see which one we're going to use. Can we use Democrat or can we use Republican? They're both the same eagle. One is the left and one is the right. They're both, neither one is for us. But I can say Trump gave the most money to HBCUs. Joe Biden is cutting funding.
I was just about to talk about that.
He's cutting funding to HBCUs, right? But it's like anything, right? Like anything that we talk about is the respect. We're expected not to get respect. We appreciate stuff like this as a people so we can complain. Because Trump had won, the people that voted for him, they would have been complaining about Trump. And by the way, peace to everybody in the chat. Blue, Cutter, Keith Watson, I can't see her name.
Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine, I almost said Keisha. Excuse me. And everybody on the other platform who's listening, peace to y'all too. But Joe Biden, I think we have to start. This is why I always say we have to control our emotions and don't let our emotions control us. Because when the emotions control us, that's what we voted. We voted for Joe Biden out of emotions and fear. You remember the guy that was on my channel? You thought the white militias already had him. You thought he was caught already and tied up. But the thing about it is, white militias didn't go anywhere, right? So what happened to those white militias? Well, CNN just decided not to go out and film them anymore. You know, we were so afraid of something going to happen to us, right? But nothing has ever stopped happening, right? It doesn't make a difference. I hear people talk about, well, Joe Biden protected Asians. He protected gays. He did this for people, right? Well, first, you ain't considered people. I don't care how much black people love this country. That's just a fact. The Constitution still say 3/5 of a human being. And I know we try to word it to make ourselves feel good and say, well, it was for the purpose of voting. Okay, they could have used different words other than 3/5 of a human if they really wanted to. You understand? They could have used different words, right? We are in a perpetual state. We like the hamster on the wheel. We're in a perpetual. The hamster on the wheel is in a perpetual state of just running around in a circle. We're in a perpetual state of ignorance and stupidity, and we brags on it, and we are happy to be in that position to say, "I voted. My vote count," because somebody told you that, right? But if our vote actually counted, why is it the people that went out and did most of the voting for the certain people, why don't they get any type of benefits? Now, me personally, I'm done asking white folks or anybody else for benefits. You have to get to a point where you can do things for yourself, because that's what we have to be. But in this case, and you're talking about this, voting for Joe Biden and the vampirist, what's her name, Kamala, that was very, 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 that was very, that was just an emotional move. We came out with all of these slogans during that vote, stroll to the poll. Get your booty to the pole. You know, we had the stripper video. Get your booty to the pole. Get your booty to the pole. Then they came with the souls to the poles movement.
Mm.
But not once do we have anyone say, well, what's your plans for us? You understand?
Mhm.
What's your plan for the people that's voting for you? And after all these years, I finally realized that there is no plan for us. They do have a plan. Their plan is to constantly push us down. So for
Mhm.
me, I just realized it's just certain elections I won't vote in. But if voting is important to my people, I would help them go vote. I would take a day out of work and take people to vote so they don't have to complain about it, can't get a ride in the rules that they have made. I would do all that. But the biggest thing that disturbed me about Black people that vote Democrat, uh, we don't listen to one another. They won't listen if a Black person's telling them something different. They're so emotional, but they're looking to make excuses for anything that they do, anything that have been done. They would ignore the fact that Joe Biden supported a guy who was a grand wizard of the KKK and begin to make excuses. And then when I began to tell them, those same people would get upset with me. Like, why are you upset with me? And then we need to get out of another thing that kill us. We still live in a slave mindset where a one drop rule. Black people have
Oh yeah.
made Kamala black. Kamala have never said she was black. Both Biden and Trump are terrible. Same with all other presidents, like the Dr. Honorable Malcolm X always said, Black people, we need our own. I agree with that. That's what I was saying. Both of them are terrible. But right now we're talking about Biden and Kamala, right? Because I would think Trump was a horrible, horrible person. But the thing is, I think Trump was usable. And what I mean by usable is Trump he's extremely arrogant and he's narcissistic. I think you could have got something may have been done under Trump because Trump wanted to say, look what I did. They both feel the same way about us, but Trump want to say, look what I did.
Yeah.
Joe Biden don't care about look what I did. Joe Biden is going to implement the plan that he got from Strom Thurmond. And if y'all don't know who Strom Thurmond is, look him up. That was Joe Biden's mentor, right? So just look who his mentor was, Strom Thurmond. Look him up. He called the Grand Wizard of the KKK an excellent man. He was a Democrat in West Virginia. He was a senator. He's dead now. I want to say his name was Robert Byrd. I think his name was. But if we just go through and look at history, see, we have short-term memory. Everybody else remembers. Black people, we have short-term memory because we have been taught you got to love, just love everybody. Forgive. Don't care how bad people treat you. Forgive them a million times. Turn the other cheek. I got two cheeks. If you include my butt cheeks, I got 4 cheeks, right? So how many cheeks can we continue to turn? And why do we sit back and accept certain things? Now I'm going to pass the mic and I can just speak on like certain things that we accept, the way we're treated. Police killers, it's just a whole killers, and then the way that we react or respond when people do it. And we can speak on that later because I've been speaking for a minute, and I'm gonna pass the mic to Forecast.
Yeah, appreciate it. What's going on, guys? What's going on, Bakari? Thanks for having me on, my brother.
No problem.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a good topic. And I say this, for that video, I'm like, why are we like surprised? They got like pedophiles and like murderers and all this kind of stuff on the side of the mountains and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So why are we surprised that this kind of stuff is that culture? I mean, this is ingrained in this society. This is the kind of society we live in. And earlier you mentioned, we don't have a voice, but one of the most important things is we all know what talks. Money talks. And we also don't understand what real money is because it's not just pieces of paper with people on them that would have killed us. Money is the natural resources, the land, the stuff that you can provide for your people, that you can build or whatever to make a nation. You know what I'm saying? So you have a voice, and that is not necessarily voting unless you're talking about like, a street in your neighborhood, you voting whether to fix the pothole or something. Nobody's saying that kind of stuff. But if you're talking about the election, you know what I'm saying, with the president, right? During the debates, you know, we was doing all of these shows and people was coming in the chat and trying to call in saying, oh, y'all being irresponsible saying this. We got to vote for the lesser of two evils, when, you know, it turning out Joe Biden might have been the more of two evils. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we can't be surprised. Like, if you look back at like who he is, you know what I'm saying? Like, good old Joe said, if you're not black if you don't vote for me, you know what I'm saying? But he also said, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. He said
Mhm.
that, so you can't really be
Sure
mad
did.
or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he said, oh, I'll talk to Ice Cube after the election, and people was going in on Ice Cube, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-mm.
that's why I didn't even realize like what was, you know, I didn't understand. But it's not nothing new with good. I don't know when he switched his ways, because he said Obama was the first clean Negro he's ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
I mean, you know, he said that, and then or you know, whatever.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he said, you know, so I don't know when he switched his ways, because my brother Bakari mentioned it back in the 70s. He voted against segregation, which looking back, which probably I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? But black people fought him on that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And back in the 90s, he said, I don't want these super predators around my crackhead drug addict son and my mom. You know what I'm saying? So how black people don't have that same mentality? I don't want these killers around my son, my mom, my children, or whatever. That I'm not saying, I'm saying learn from how they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we learn from the negative stuff and take all the negative stuff, but learn from the positive kind of stuff, how they revere their legends and all of that, how they still have Columbus Day. They still have all of these President's Day, even though there was a bunch of evil killers, psychopath, rapists. Like, it's like documented kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then you know, you was talking about like the Democrats, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have Obama, and I didn't vote for Obama either time. Like, the first election was like the first time I was old enough to vote in an election, and I still didn't vote for him. And even though I probably should have, for the culture, you know what I'm saying? But with Obama, you know what I'm saying? And the time he was in office, he could not say he was black. He had to apologize for saying Trayvon Martin would look like his son, which he would. And when he was asked about reparations, he was talking about schools in South Carolina for all children, white children, black children, and all of that stuff. But recently, in an interview that he did this year, he was like, "Yeah, I'm black and all of this stuff." And he said, "Oh yeah, I think we should definitely have reparations for the black community. I just couldn't say that because I knew the white people was gonna get on me. Pretty much,
Oh
that's what he was
wow.
saying. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?" So like, it took until 2021, when Joe Biden is still in office, right? He's the first clean Negro he's ever seen. So he still ain't listening to him, by the way, when he started talking about, you know, reparation. He's like, yeah, I definitely think black Americans do that. You know what I'm saying? And then we can go back to like Clinton, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember that, you know, black people was calling Clinton the first black president or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people could say why they called him that, and which is a whole nother thing. But he really made his claim to fame in the black community by going at Sister Soldier, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now he you know, in the hospital, and I guess that Sister Soldier voodoo is starting to catch up with him, you know what I'm saying? It's starting to come home or whatever. But you know, I say this, you know, LBJ said, you know, I had those N words, you know, I don't, you know, he said it, you know what I'm saying? I think I should say it, but I ain't gonna say it on this channel. But, you know, he said, I'll have those N words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And damn, if it ain't been like 60 or 70 years. But I will say this, you know, if we're gonna start getting into voting or whatever, we could easily, because if it's vote or die, right? We could go take the most nominate the most successful black business owners that we elect or nominate as a collective in the group or whatever, and go vote. And it got to be in person so it could be authentic, you know what I'm saying? And go vote for the council that'll be in charge of black businesses that we can donate our money to, where it'll be transparent. Since people don't want to trust a single person, it should definitely be, you know, councils and stuff like that. And if we could take the most successful black business people as a group, right, and nominate and go out and vote for them, since it's vote or die, we can go, you know, get the lesser of two evils. So we can definitely go get the best of the most good, or whatever, however you want to put it, you know, and vote for the most successful black business owners, strictly to fund and grow black businesses. And you can do that in every area. But that's something simple that we could do right now, and nothing is stopping us from, like, and that's another way that your voice is powerful. So, you know, I'll rest the mic right there.
I agree, Forecast. I always say money talks at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You can vote, but people, when they put their votes in, these, and like I said, these elites, they already know who they're gonna win in office. These people are handpicked because the people with the, like you said, with these big corporations or whatever, it's all about protecting their interests. If I put you in office, I'm going to pay you for your campaign. So my business, so you can, so you won't, so if you won't charge me more taxes or whatever. I want my interest to be protected, and that's the reason why these guys are put in office for a particular reason. I think all these everything else is just for show. Everything else is for show. But I want to read a couple of comments here. Keith Wilson said, "The mainstream media, with their dirty mind tricks, black people, you have no choice but to vote for the lesser of the two evil, which is bullshit." I agree. He said, "If you don't do your own independent research, you will fall for the lesser than two evils nonsense." That's true. Yeah. People always got to do their background check. People always got to do background check. I always said, do background check. You just can't just go with the flow because you just want to feel American. You never was an American, which I'm going to address that too later in my program too with this how this Indigenous Day bull crap. I'm going to talk about that in a minute because we're living in a country, by the way, that this transformation era now. Everybody want to be trans this and trans that, and you got black people now are into this trans identity now. This trans identity crisis now. So I want to talk about that. Thanks to these politicians that's pushing this crap. People like Joe Biden, mind you. So what else he said? Thank you, Forecast, for sharing this program. Appreciate it, brother. He said, we want reparations now. Tell the suckers to cut the check. I agree. I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. We've been fighting for that for the longest, but I have to go with Brother Bakari. I don't think they're going to give it to us. They won't give it to us. You know, they'll go around it. They'll jump over it. They go under it when it comes down to that issue. But as you can see, they provided everybody else with their reparations right in front of our face. And because we want to be pro-Democrat. I'm not saying we, not me, but you got these black people, they so-called pro-Democrat. It's like, to them, that's like a good thing. It's like, okay, well, that's like, well, yeah, we doing great things as Democrats, but you're suffering. You're still in the hood trying to fight for some little chunk change. You in the same condition, but you voted for a president that's looking over your interests. That's why I was trying to tell the brother in Jersey. I said, what about our interests? Have you voted for our interests as a collective? Oh, he's all about self. He's all about self. And I got upset. I said, y'all don't give a damn about our people. You don't give a damn about the hard working African family. You don't care. You don't care. I brought up what happened to the Haitians, our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Well, you know what would you think if Trump got it? I was he still getting on this Trump? I want to say, why don't you get off Trump, you know what, and talk about your current president that you went out and voted for. All this is a form of escapism, by the way. That's what it is. It's escapism. All right. Cool, sister. So this is all, like I said, this is I want to show the Democrat, liberal black folks, you voted a pervert pedophile in office. You saw the evidence, you saw the proof. I'm not going to sit here and just run my mouth, just like you got some other YouTubers out there. They just sit back and run their mouth. They don't show no evidence or whatever. And my whole thing is this: when you don't show nothing, in my opinion, you're just talking gibberish. People, we are visual people. You got to show what the hell you talking about. Other than that, you might well just become a preacher in some church or some mosque somewhere. I'm just going to keep it 100. So I'm going to screen share something else, because Brother Bakari said something was very important that we forget about historical facts. We forget about the past, about our enemies' past. We forget about that. He talked about how these Democrats like Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, we heard them speak and say they was expired. They said that these KKK, like Robert Byrd, was their mentor. We heard them say that. So we witness how Joe Biden welcomed these Afghanistan people, which are white folks, actually, which are white. I don't dissect nobody. I don't care if you're Arab or you're Muslim, whatever you want to call yourself. We are living by a color code, and I wish black people are going to have to learn that if you're living in a country that goes by a color code, then that's what it is. We're living in a color code, and these color codes are forming what you call a game. They're forming a game, and just like my brother Keith said, he said they use media as this technology weapon. They turn other groups of races of people, whites join forces, red people join forces, yellow people join forces, black people, no, you gotta love everybody. The only time when you will start attacking is with each other. You don't fight us. So Joe Biden, and who remember what Joe Biden talked about the Haitians in 1994? Who remember that? Who remember that? Hit that button. Support Black independent media. This conversations are very important too. Thanks, Keith Wilson. You're the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to screen share something. I want y'all brothers to. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. So people say Trump is this racist person, like he's the only racist white guy that we had as president. No other president was racist. George Washington, oh, he wasn't racist. Was he racist? Was George Washington racist? Did he own African? Did he help enslaved African people?
Hey, guy, before you show that your next screen share, I got something I want to say about something you just said.
Go ahead, brother.
According
I
to
want to say this real quick. Hold on. I want to say, Hotep to Underrated Darkness, the #1 grinder. That's my brother. What's good? What's good, Underrated? Go ahead, brother Carl. I just had to throw that in. I'm sorry.
All right, no problem, my man. Peace, Underrated. What's going on, brother? Okay, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, white, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Black or African American. A person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. Now, the reason I wanted to say that when you mentioned we live by a color code, we live by this, and so on and so forth, right? But it's amazing how you meet these people that's considered white here. They'll tell you, I'm from Afghanistan, I'm from Iraq, I'm from Iran, I'm from Saudi Arabia. You understand what I'm saying? These white people can tell you, I have my roots come from I'm actually Polish, or I'm Irish, or I'm this, or I'm that. But when it comes to Black people, oh, I'm a Black American, huh? We the only people that completely want to get rid of our ancestors because we think if we get rid of them and cling closer to other people, that's a defeat. See, you say escapism, good. It's also a defeated mindset. You don't think you can fight back. So I'm gonna forget who my great grandmama was. You understand? Let's say hypothetically me. I would forget that my grandmama is literally from Africa Town in Mobile, Alabama, right? So her being from Africa Town, we know where she was from, right? We know where my ancestors come from, right? I will completely forget that and just say, call me a Black American. American is something you was made. I was forced to be an American, but I'm an African by blood. So I won't ever pull myself away from my ancestors, hoping that other people will feel good with me. I would never be this country first. I'm always race first, African first. People say B1. Some people, when they say it, I understand what B1 means. But since we have encompassed and lived a lot of fantasy and make believe, we have made Black become everything. Well, Black people, original people in America. That's not true. Oh, we the original people of Europe. That's not true. So don't just tie yourself down to one continent. Say you Black, and then you can say you indigenous to the whole world. But that's make believe, feel good teachings. My ancestors come from Africa, and I don't see how we are the only people that's willing to disrespect our ancestors. But we'll call a Chinese person, someone from China, they're Chinese. But a lot of those Chinese people was born here. We will call someone from Korea Korean, but they was born here. So if you're a Black American, they are yellow American. You understand? We'll call a Mexican, but a lot of those Mexicans were born here. Everybody else can have their roots. Everybody else can have where they're originally from, except one group of people, and that's us. Oh, we're a different type of Black. I just wanted to say that, man. I don't think we're a different type of Black. I'm saying
man. Brother Bakar, man, you speaking fire right now, man. I mean, and I was going to elaborate that later on because I want to touch on that. And I'll touch on it a little bit to back. I'm going to read this real quick. My brother said, I definitely recommend everybody to look up videos or listen to audio recordings of Malcolm X. Malcolm X, that's one of my heroes. I don't care what nobody say. That's one of my greatest heroes. And I want to let the people know that when I was growing up, I watched a lot of Malcolm X videos. I didn't care much of Elijah Muhammad. That's just me. No disrespect to Elijah Muhammad, but Malcolm X inspired me when I was young. So I just want to throw that in there real quick. His words dated back to the 60s are still true to this day. And that's sad. That's sad. And it's so true. Those words still relevant to this day. We haven't got very far since then. That's true. And that's been over 60 years? So you had touched on Brother Bakar, and I want to add on something real quick, where that, you hear a lot of these Black folks, they say, well, where you from? Oh, I'm from Mississippi. When you ask them about their roots, these Black Americans about their roots, oh, I'm from Mississippi or from Louisiana. Our ancestors, you're right. Our ancestors always say that's the reason why you have African Town and Little Africa in the South. So our answer's already letting you know, hey, we come from Africa. But when it comes to this Indigenous Day movement, I don't see no black people. I don't see one dark-skinned people in this indigenous movement. Not one. And which I'm gonna show the pictures too. They talk about, oh, we indigenous people, we Aboriginal, we built the pyramids. No, you have not. Because guess what? And Brother Bakari, you and I had this conversation. Those pyramids in Mexico was built during the time ancient Egypt was around. So black people was already traveling. African people was traveling. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Look at the timeline. So African people had built those pyramids in Mexico. That was during the time when Egypt was still, I'm saying Egypt, but ancient Kemet was still ruling. That's how you build empire. Because now you got a station where you at. Okay, you know what? We're gonna station over there, just like United States. How they leave their mark in every country. So that's where they got it from. We're gonna station it over here. We're gonna build a pyramid over in this land to let people know that, hey, we was here. Then I asked these indigenous people, then why did you stop building? Where's your statues? You can't claim the Olmecs. Can't claim the Olmec. Those are African people. And if you look at those statues and compare it in Africa, you see there's a resemblance. It's just, and see, our culture went throughout Africa. So people always say that I don't just, yes, I consider myself West African, but I'm claiming a whole continent. Those white people that in North, that you see, those white, so-called, the white people that call Arabs, those are invaders. They're not supposed to be on that land. I tell them that. In matter of fact, they know that. They know that. So I just want to throw that in there, but we're gonna touch on that a little later on in this program. But Keith Winston, you on point. I agree with you. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Only thing that's changed is the weather and time. That's it. And if your condition, if you still fighting the same damn thing that you've been fighting for the past 60 or 70 years, something is wrong. Your voting don't mean a damn thing. Well, I'm gonna go and vote, and you have these liberal Negroes go and put the sticker, oh, I voted. Like you doing something. You ain't changing nothing. You changing other people's lives to become better. That's what you're doing. You making other people's who don't look like you making their lives better. We should be first priority. And I agree with Brother Bakari. Because this B1 garbage, because everybody's black. Everybody's black. They said Bill Clinton was black. Everybody got black in them. Well, everybody come from Africa. No, everybody's not come from Africa. That's a lie. Because when your DNA change, it changes. That means that connection cuts right there. That's it. It cuts. I do believe people mutate. Evolution, you become mute, you mutate. Mutation is do exist. And that's because of the climate change, your diet, all that combines. So when the offspring comes, it changes. People know if a woman is pregnant, and Brother Bakari and Forecast, you are my witness. If a woman is pregnant, if she's around people that smoke cigarettes and she's inhaling that, what will happen to that baby? It will affect the baby. That's science. If a woman do drugs, she do drugs while she's pregnant, it's going to affect the baby. We know this. So all this pseudoism, and I had to go with Kukutter because I'm like him. I'm a pseudo killer. But we'll talk about that a little later. But let me go on about this Biden sicko real quick. Let me screen share this. Because this was very disturbing when I saw it. I'm gonna screen share this. This is he spoke about this in 1994. Now listen what he says about our people in Haiti.
Hey, let Forecast speak before me this time. I'm gonna be listening, but I got to step away for a second.
Oh yeah, no problem. No
I'm
problem.
listening.
All right, no problem. Okay, I'm gonna play this. I want you to listen really good. What's going on here?
Reaction, Mr. President, to the Haitian president being assassinated?
We need a lot more information, but it's very worrisome about the state of Haiti.
Does the U.S. have a role in seeking justice? Mr. President,
he just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot to the world. Editor of a paper in the Delaware Valley asked their reporters to come down and talk to me and said, why is Biden so concerned about Bosnia and not about Haiti? Is it because blacks are involved in Haiti? Blacks are what at stake in Haiti, and in Bosnia they are European whites. If Haiti, a god-awful thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot in terms of our interests.
Let me play that again.
what's your reaction, Mr. President, to the Haitian president being assassinated?
We need a lot more information, but it's very worrisome about the state of
Does the
Haiti.
U.S. have a role in seeking justice? Mr. President,
He just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot in terms of our interests. Editor of a paper in the Delaware Valley asked their reporters to come down and talk to me and said, why is Biden so concerned about Bosnia and not about Haiti? Is it because blacks are involved in Haiti? Blacks are what at stake in Haiti, and in Bosnia they are European whites. If Haiti, a god-awful thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot in terms of our interests.
So I want to play that real quick. Okay, no problem, Keith. No problem. I want to play that real quick. And I'm going to show you nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. So as you can see, let me screen share this real quick. And I'm going to let my brother speak on it. As you can see, history repeats itself, where you have Biden administration to open door to move Afghanis to relocate to the U.S. Over the Taliban danger, right? So this is what he has done. Now these people, these are Europeans, right? These are not our people. And then on top of that, to make it worse, let me screen. Then it made it worse here. Let me screen share this. He signs a bill. Where's that at? I think this is it. So he's not only going to let them in, not only he decided to let them in the country, Biden signs funding bill, which includes $60.3 billion for Afghanistan refugees to resettlement in the United States. And then you want to know why. And then you want to know why he's cutting funding from the historical Black colleges and universities. He's going to cut like $45 billion to fund this. This is what the Black liberals, Democrats, this is what y'all voted for. You like this. You think that's doing good to you Black Democrat liberals. Now I'm talking about y'all, because you don't care about Black people. But this is what you voted for. Now these people, Joe Biden not going to want these people around them. Now they're going to get free money to get on their feet, include free housing, hotel person, kid 21, hotel. If by the way, if you want to come on, I'll let you on if you want to speak on this issue. Okay, brother. Okay, cool. So this is what Black Democrat liberals voted for. And they get angry when I say that. They get real angry when I say that. They get free housing, they get free money for a few months. I mean, this is their reparations. And you hear that Joe Biden is cutting funding to do this from the historical Black colleges and universities. He's doing this, hurting us again. But this is what the Black Democrat liberals, they okay with this. The meantime, while he's doing this, let me show you something else. The meantime, while he's doing this, our people in Haiti are suffering. Our people in Haiti are suffering. The president got assassinated. The government, there's no government. There's really no government over there. Because you need order. You need law and order. People out there robbing, raping. Whatever they do. I mean, probably a whole lot of craziness going over there. Who knows? So they figured, well, African people, African Haitians saying, well, fuck it. If you doing that to the Afghanistan, we need help too. We need more help than them. But this is what the your Democrat liberals, to all you Democrat liberal Negroes, this is what you voted for. Look at that. This reminds me of this is another form of slavery. These are our people. Look at this. I can't believe black people are comfortable with this. I mean, whipping. I mean, look at this. Cowboys. So you black people that are cowboy fans, and you don't think cowboy is not offensive? Because the original cowboys, everybody know the original cowboys were enslaved Africans. But they call themselves the cowboys. Our people need help. What was the welcome party? I want to just show that. And then on top of that, look, there's a woman with a child right here. Sad, man. And these black Democrat liberals, they don't want to talk about it. They ignore it. They ignore it. And on top of that, the United States, let me show you this real quick, and I'm going to let my brother speak on it. Let's see, what's that? US. So U.S. and Mexico flying Haitians, immigrants away from the border. Pressures bills on Biden. So they sending them back. They sent majority of them back. They sending our people back. But the Afghanis, it's a welcome to America party. But these stupid Democrat liberals, this is what they voted for. And they get mad at me because I'm telling them, you voted for this? You like seeing your people suffering like this? Because it's not you? You just happy because it's not you going through it? Separating our family, separating the black man, black woman, and child. But these black Democrat and liberals, they'll feel sorry for some Mexicans that do it, and they get put in these little cages and stuff. They feel sorry for them. But when it comes down to our people, they keep quiet. Shh. Or I don't want to say nothing. They keep quiet. I don't hear nothing from nobody. No one's not saying nothing. If this was under Trump, it would be an outrage all over this country. It'd be an outrage. I just want to show the difference. I just want to show the difference. So I'll let my brother speak on this and see how they feel about it. Brother Bakari, you want to speak or forecast?
Look, this is my thing, right? I almost said Sleepy Joe because I was reading his chat. I almost said Sleepy Joe said it right, but Person Kid said it right. I was reading his comment. My bad, Person Kid. I was not calling you Sleepy Joe. But anyway, what Person Kid said is correct. Joe Biden is doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing what white people is supposed to do. Everybody look out for their own. Even when you was mentioning that 6.3 billion, right? What we got to understand, what I read was from the United States Census Bureau. Those people come here, they are considered white. The people from the Middle East. You got to remember who they worked with, who the white Europeans worked with, and did child slavery to us with, was with those Arabs from the Middle East, right? So it's just them working with old friends. And when they see black people, what we don't understand is we are seen as property by these people, right? That's all we were bought here for a reason. And the reason I never mention reparations, we must understand we were bought here to this country. And all over the diaspora, we were taken different places for a reason, to enrich other people. And that's what we have done. And we did it so good then, working for free. Now when we work and get money, we give our check to other people instead of giving it to one another. Nobody is going to give a slave reparations. See, when we say, oh, the Jews got reparations, the Jews were not enslaved. And the Jews gonna remain Jews, even the ones that don't like one another. They're gonna still have that religion, a Jew, because they ain't nothing but white people, right? The Chinese got reparations. Guess what? The Chinese remain Chinese. The Japanese got some money. They remain Japanese. Black people don't want to remain African. You are an American. So I don't owe no Americans nothing because we didn't do nothing to an American. We enslaved Africans. We didn't do a damn thing to an American. And what they are doing right now is what they're supposed to do. What I say is, when are we going to look in the mirror and pull our pants up and say, we're going to do what we're supposed to do? Or are we going to continue to sit back and allow everybody else to do what they're supposed to do while we say that, like I say, my favorite rap, blind leading the blind. We can't afford to go to school even though we got the knowledge. Spend our money with them Asians and they send their kids to college. Now here we are, hoes, dope dealers, and bums at the white man table still begging for crumbs. Cut the check, 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 cut the check. I ain't no African. I'm a black American. I'm a black American patriot. They did not enslave Americans. They enslaved Africans. You want to be American so bad, you want to be up under the people that enslaved you, that embarrass you, that rip you from your family so bad, you forgot who you were. And now the things that you're asking for, you'll never get, because they didn't do anything to an American. They bought you here on the bottom of a ship, and America wasn't even created yet. So how did they do something to an American? They did it to Africans. And if anybody gets something, that's who should get it. Africans. I'm an African, and I'm African first. I understand when some people say B1. You notice I said I do understand when some people say. Blue said, I understand what she mean by Blue 1, B1. Forecast said, Erica Howard said. Some people say it and I understand what they mean. But so many other people have just taken it and twisted and like, shit, I don't even want to be a part of it. That's just me. But do I represent it? I represent it because Blue represented, Forecast represented, Erica Howard represented, because I know we all on the same team. But what Biden is doing to those Africans, what Biden had his dogs doing to those Africans trying to get here from Haiti, that's what Europeans done to Africans ever since they had the opportunity to do. We can scream we're American all day, but you're an American by force, but you're African by blood, and they constantly show you that you're not the same. And I yield the mic.
Boy, you hit it right on the button. Forecast, and then after forecast, then my brother MG2.
All right. Well, if MG2 want to come on, because he ain't been on yet. So if he want to go,
Okay.
what's going on, MG2?
All right, if you cool with it, okay. MG2, what you got? What you got, MG? Hold up to you, brother. I'm glad you joined us.
Wanted to say hotep to you guys. Thank you for allowing me to go ahead and speak. As I always say, just listening to Brother Bakari, I learned something else. I mean, I love listening to you guys. Peace to the chat, because anything that I can do to learn, man. Like today, just a few minutes ago, as he said, look, they didn't enslave Americans. They didn't do anything to Americans. They did it to us, like they did it to these Afghans and everyone else. One of the things that I've been preaching this probably for the last 5 years, that when the thing is they our competitors, i.e. whites and others, when they go ahead and fight each other, when they make amends, they're going to make amends and make sure that they give others the ability to exploit folks that have not fought them. Here's what I mean. Whenever they fought somebody else, whether they won or not, that constituency, for lack of a better term, whether it's Asian, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Arab, it doesn't matter who it is. They're going to go ahead and give them the opportunity to be, quote unquote, a buffer class to fight against and to exploit and to marginalize and basically profit on folks that have not fought them back. I have to ask myself, and I might be wrong. And when I say not fought them back, I'm talking those who have given up the fight and have joined them. And I ask myself, who are the individuals who have not fought that enemy back and actually have joined them? So therefore, clearly, I might be wrong, but clearly those are the folks that are going to be ripe for being exploited, to being, marginalized, to be able to walk in a stairwell in New York and get shot by a Chinese cop, to go ahead and have a knee on their neck by somebody. I ask myself, who are those folks? And then I have to look in the mirror and say, hey, I think I might have found the answer. A lot of what has happened, and I've been trying to tell folks this, when they went, Joe Biden's previous boss by the name of Obama and other, unfortunates, went ahead and when they went into these lands like Ukraine or what they did over there in Syria or whatever else, I said, if I go back to what what I just previously said about folks that have fought them and been in the battle, then all of a sudden they become friends, and now all of a sudden these new friends called Afghanistan, Syria, and Ukraine or whatever can actually go and profit off of folks in communities, for lack of a better term, where they're selling weaves and rims and liquor and everything else. I had to ask myself, I see the seeds where Joe Biden came from, of course. And the seeds are not just Obama. Those seeds go back to Crime Bill Biden. Those seeds go back to Kennedy. Those seeds go back to, unfortunately, us as a black folk not doing, or for lack of a better term, we're thinking things will repeat and they'll change. And I think that's a term for insanity, expecting things to change, doing things over and over. I might be wrong, but I think there's something like that called insanity. And I'm not saying that black folks are insane, but I'm just saying that we're definitely trying to prove a point that it doesn't exist by thinking that we assimilate, or that we can go ahead and be the status quo of something that has done us quite wrong for so long, to the point where now they can bring Afghanistan or whoever else in, use our monies, because remember, black folks, relatively speaking, are the highest, relatively we're the highest tax-paying base. And what I mean by that, we pay more taxes than anyone else, more revenue. We give it to the states or whatever, because we don't have the ability to take advantage like Jeff Bezos or like the Afghanis that are coming in to set up businesses in black neighborhoods. We don't, in other words, we work government jobs and work for someone else. So somebody's going to take money out of our check before they do someone from Afghanistan. So unfortunately, our monies, our energies and everything else are clearly, and it's expected that are going to go to Afghanis, Ukrainians, Syrians, or whoever else the United States and their European minions are going to have a beef with. So I have to ask myself, if we know that that's, I'm not going to say it's 100%, because a lot of folks say, well, this and that, whatever, it's not 100%, whatever. If that's even a probability, even if we know that that's a probability that somebody could come in from Korea, set up a shop, shoot our 13-year-old in the back of the neck because she didn't want to buy orange juice. If we know that that's a probability, and I think it might have happened sometime, you guys might know better than me. Why, I think that our solution is to know that that exists, that that's happened before, that that can happen, and then to change the direction and start looking out for ourselves. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna pass the mic.
Definitely. Yeah, that's you. That's so true, man. That's so true. And it's just unfortunate where some of our people they see this, and I think it's more like have this see no evil, hear no evil type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? They see what's going on, but they too scared to say something or speak out, or they afraid they might lose their job or whatever the case is. I don't know. But we see that nothing has changed. We see that there is a real pandemic, not this other stuff that they put. I'm not going to say it because I don't want YouTube be like, oh, we have a real pandemic problem. We have a real pandemic problem. So, but these Democrat liberals, it's more like they just don't want to acknowledge. They don't want to see that, hey, they think that Biden is they think people like Obama and Biden and all these other Democrats, their friend. Kamala Harris, oh, she's a black woman. I can imagine something happens, she'd become president. Oh my God, I can imagine black people gonna go bonkers like, oh my God, the first black woman who's president. You're just gonna have to shake your head like, it's sad. It's sad. And even if you show them all these evidence, they just tune it out. They don't care. It's all about, like the dude that told me in Jersey, it's all about him. It's all about protecting his interests, not everybody else's interests, not every other black person's interests, only him. And yeah, I got upset. I said, so when Barack Obama was in office, you did good. Fuck the hell with every other black person out here who's out here struggling. You did good. So it's all about this me. They always say there's no I in, there's no I in team. So when Brother Bakari say this is Team Black, we're Team Black, we have to look at this as a team. And I have to piggyback on Brother Bakari said. He said, you're right. He's right. They didn't enslave Americans. So why are you telling people cut the check and they didn't enslave you? You in America, they didn't enslave Americans. Americans do not enslave Americans. Americans do not mistreat Americans. These Aboriginals, these so-called Aboriginals, only Aboriginal that I know is the ones in Australia. I don't know about no Aboriginals here in this country. The only indigenous people that I know is the one I'm about to show. And you're going to see, you don't see no black face. You don't see no African, I wanted to say, I would just say you don't see no black face with kinky hair in that picture. Black people got into this this transformation era now. That we in the transformation because they following what the media is saying. Okay. Let me I'm trying to do something here real quick. Give me 1 second.
All right. Hey, yeah, let me say
Go
something
ahead.
real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I wanted to say something about, the Joe Biden thing, because under Joe Biden, we got to look at what has literally happened. You know what I'm saying? Haiti, the president got shot in his own bed, you know what I'm saying, at night, you know what I'm saying? A country got destabilized. Afghanistan, a country got destabilized, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not only that, the dude issued a mandate or whatever that's against their own laws, which goes to show you it's not about right and wrong, it's not about laws, it's not about any of that other stuff. It's about control, it's about power, you know what I'm saying? It's about controlling the world's resources, you know what I'm saying? So that you have to come to it. And as people, you know what I'm saying, as a group, as black people, I'm gonna still say black people, I understand what y'all saying, but as black people, we still struggling with the old world order, and we're talking about the new world order. We haven't conquered the old world order yet. And as far as America, like America says, you got to be a white person to be a citizen in America, like with the Nationalization Act of 1790.
The Nationalization Act, yeah.
Yeah. And you got to be a white person. And it says, and it goes to show you because, right, what other citizen has to have a Voters' Right Act renewed and voted on every 25 years? You know what I'm saying? So that shows you in itself is not a citizen. With slavery, slavery is legal in America. That's why you can't really get reparations for slavery in itself, the system of that, because it's still legal in America. It's a legal system to Europeans. Now, what is illegal is kidnapping, how they kidnap groups of people and, even against their own laws. And don't get me wrong, they go against their own laws. And, y'all was talking about reparations, they're never going to give it to you. But at the bottom line, we all know what it's going to take to get reparations, right? We all know the answer to that. So the question becomes, why aren't we doing the things necessary to start moving in our direction? Why aren't we mad enough to make it happen? We got to start facing reality. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's a trauma thing. It's passed down from generation to generation. And we have like our culture is developed because older black people, during that time, like a long time ago, they would say, don't look a white person in the eyes, step off the sidewalk, just don't cause no trouble, and maybe you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't matter if somebody came to lynch you. And we didn't even understand. That's why I respect Ida B. Wells in the time that she did. She pointed out that it wasn't about rape and white women's word. They didn't care about white women. It was about an economic war. You know what I'm saying? They used the word of white women, accusing somebody of rape to destroy somebody's business. You know what I'm saying? And that was the whole purpose. It's an economic warfare because, first of all, the poor whites who are stupid and stuck on the system and talking about they love America. America is using them the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's just that they get certain privileges and rights, you know what I'm saying, that other groups don't have to deal with. And every single other group have used you to get into the class of whiteness. Italians weren't white, but you know what? They went at black people, they earned their whiteness. The Irish, they weren't white, they earned their whiteness. Jews, I don't even know if they consider white today, but guess what? They was a part of the slave trade like everybody else, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it's and you said something about the media is like how the media works. Of course they're gonna come to me. Like if I didn't know Bakari and then I had some white dude as the middleman, he'd be like, yo, he said this about the forecast. And then I'll be like, what, he said that? And then he'll go back to Bakari. The forecast said this. And then me and Bakari will spend 6 months beefing instead of just calling each other to talk about it. Because whoever controls the narrative, whoever controls history, they control everything. You know what I'm saying? And we're letting the middleman divide us, and we've always did that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I understand what y'all saying about the African thing, but me personally, I know that you're not going to be able to debate somebody about their beliefs. They're not even gonna listen to what you have to say. They're just gonna argue their point. You know what I'm saying? But it comes to a point like, what are we going to start doing? Are we going to identify as sexuality first? You know what I'm saying? Or are we going to identify as nationality first? Or are we going, what are we going to identify? Are we going to identify as race first? We're not the one that started this. We're not the one who kidnapped ourselves and brought ourselves over here to build somebody else's stuff. We're not the ones that made a class system based off the skin color. We eventually start having the brown paper bag test and all of that stuff. But this is a point where we're going to have to start saying, you know what I'm saying, like black first, African first, whatever, as a people, you know what I'm saying? What are we going to start identifying first? And that's why I talked about, you know, the Berlin Conference, to leave our beliefs at the door, to talk about the issues of the fact that they can come in our house right now and take one of our kids, and what you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? If they knew that they can come in your house back then and rape your wife, your mama, your daughter, you know what I'm saying, and you won't do nothing about it, what you going to do about it right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is anybody going to do? We can go in any country, destabilize it, and take over the natural resources because we want to. And we're so worried about being fair, being right, being, you know, balanced and all of that stuff, when these people care about domination and control. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they've always used our divisions that we have against us to make us fight. But it's time for us to start coming to the table, because guess what? As a group, we don't control our food. You know what I'm saying? Like the black farmers, like they're doing what they have to do, but they're getting sued by white farmers who've always discriminated on them, because people of color are getting this stuff, which includes, well, we all know what people of color means, you know, and everybody's included. But guess who they're suing? The black farmers, not the Asian farmers, not the other stuff, the black farmers, because they stay on a strict code. And our lives, our children's lives, because our mamas, our daddies, all of that stuff is dying of diabetes. Like the police shootings is just one symptom. They control a whole system. You know what I'm saying? So all of this stuff has to be more important to us to unify and to respond with more urgency than they do to stay in their position. Like, I mean, if we aren't tired of it after hundreds and hundreds of years, tell me what it's going to take. So, you know, I'll rest the mic right there.
Anybody else want to respond?
Sure. So I'm kind of out of breath. I'm sitting here listening to you guys doing burpees. I'm always training. Thank you, Brother Forecast. I mean, what you said is so necessary, because I like to ask you guys, has anybody ever seen this cartoon called The Simpsons?
Yes.
And on The Simpsons, you know, I might be wrong. I don't know if it's a popular cartoon or not, but I did watch it, watch it off and on. One of the things, there's a bully by the name of Nelson Muntz. I remember that very well. The bully. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, the character. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, and he likes to bully this one kid by the name of Milhouse. You know, little nerd, glasses type.
The nerd, yeah.
Right. And I might be wrong, but I have not seen Nelson Muntz ever. Well, you know how he takes Milhouse's lunch money and he takes them. I've never seen Nelson Muntz take Milhouse to dinner at Ruth's Chris. You know, usually when he takes his money, Milhouse doesn't get it back. I might be wrong. But as far as I know, watching that cartoon, I've never seen Nelson Muntz say, you know, Milhouse, I took all this money. I mean, he's taken more money from Milhouse. I mean, he could probably, you know, rival Jeff Bezos. He took that much money. But I've never seen him say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take you out for dinner with your own money. Unfortunately, and that goes to what I was previously saying, because of the fact we have not fought back. Clearly, I mean, we've tried. And trying is lying. Either you do something, you're thorough, you don't get it done at all. We have not successfully give our enemy consequence. That might be a better way of putting it. We might have fought back, but we did not give them consequence. Afghanistan, they gave them consequence. Japan, after World War II, and they owned the manufacturing centers, that gave them economic consequence. Hispanics, now that they're owning supply chains and food, and they're sending droves of their own over a border that's supposed to be closed, they're giving them consequence. East Indians, even after what the Brits did to them and whatever, they fought back to the point where they own your IT system. They gave their enemy consequence. The only folks, and I might be wrong, again, because I'm looking at a global version of Milhouse, that has gone ahead and taken lunch money away from the global version, the global version of Nelson Muntz, who has taken away money from the global version of Millhouse that so happens to look like us for over 500 years. And still yet, Nelson Muntz has not gotten consequence. Everyone else is getting what they need. They'll go ahead and get whoever over the border, whereas we'll sit there and wait for a Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe, who clearly is more racist than Trump. He's a more perfected version of Trump than Trump is. Clearly, we have not given him consequence. When we go ahead and hold I don't want to be crude. When we start to get testosterone, for lack of a better term, as not only just brothers, as a race in general, and we start giving folks consequence, we will not be asking for or begging for or talking about cutting a check, because we will be cutting throats. Because clearly it has been a clear evidence, it has been the record that others who have cut the throats of their global Nelson Muntzes, for lack of a better term, whether they're Afghanis, Saudis, Asians, Hispanic, East Indians, Arabs, or whatever, clearly they cut the throats of the Nelson Muntz that had taken their lunch money sometime before. They're not asking to cut a check, they're coming to take their check. Martin Luther King talked about taking a check. We're coming to get our check in that speech that he gave, that little lecture he gave. It's over 60 years later, and I'm wondering if we even know, if we even left out the front door to go take a check. I'll go ahead and pass the mic on that one.
I want to add
Hey, you
something.
know what? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. Carl. And then after you, then I'm gonna respond.
You know what? You're absolutely
I think
correct.
Forecast. I'm gonna say this real. I think I agree with Forecast and MG2. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
MG2, you're absolutely correct. When you say we have not given them any consequences, right? Right? We haven't made them suffer anything. And now it's to the point where we won't even make them suffer by not even spending our money with them. You understand? That's and that's our problem, right? That is something we need to do. Ooh, excuse me.
Bless you, bless you.
Yeah, thank you. But that is something we need to do, right? You know, it's an argument. It's something I always hear, right? When Forecast said they didn't consider the Italians white and the Irish white, right? I'm going to show y'all something, right? And this ain't me trying to take a shot at Forecast or anything. He know that. But they were always considered white. We must understand white people had tribes. The tribe that took control of America were the Anglo and Saxons. Hence, that's why they are called Anglo-Saxon. There were two tribes came together. They were considered white. That's why, did you see Tyson Fury when he came out dressed like a Roman?
Yep.
These people here, they copied the Romans. They were just different tribal people than the Romans. They were just not when the Irish came here, the Irish had clans. The British and Irish was having wars over in England, right? They were considered white. They just were not Anglo-Saxon because of Anglo-Saxons or the Anglos and the Saxons. They figured everyone was less than them. Now I'm going to show you something. When we say we are a tribal people, the reason I mentioned the things that I just said, go study ancient England or what considered England today and look and see how many tribes they had and how they used to fight and kill one another. And they realized it was better if everybody come under the one banner of being Anglo and Saxons. A city the size of New York may have 30 different tribes. Well, of course, with no cities that big back then, but I'm just saying, hypothetically now, a city the size of New York may have had 100 different tribes. They may have had so many different kingdoms in an area with so many people. Here in Atlanta, they would have had so many different kingdoms. But what we always talk about, putting tribal differences aside, they did. Go to Asia. In China, they have about 5 different languages. They still have tribes. Go to Korea. When they talk about when they say North Korea and South Korea, right? I lived in Korea for 365 days, right? I want y'all to understand. I literally worked with some North Koreans while I was in South Korea. Everything they're telling you over here, how they're going against one another, is not always true. You understand? Everybody has figured a way to put their differences aside. And when they put their differences aside, things began to get better for them. Once we realize that we absolutely need each other, and when I say absolutely need each other, I'm not just talking about black people in this country. I'm talking about African descent black people in South America, African black people on the continent, the black African people over in Europe, the black African people in the islands. We all need each other. But long as we can look and see a difference. You Jamaican, I heard your accent. Huh? And Dr. John Henry Clark spoke on that. The early 90s, he said it's going to get to a point where black people, actually it's the African people, is going to start looking and saying, I'm American and I'm Jamaican. And he went on and on and on. And he was like, it's getting to that point now. But what's going to hurt is we're going to forget that we're African, and we're going to be proud to be what white people made us, and we're going to put that above who we are. And it's happening right now. It's happening right now. When we study the past, I was telling people today in the barbershop, we have to look at our past and let's find some type of motivation from the past. We can't constantly hold on to the past that's hurt us. Let's find some, even if it was a small battle, like Marcus Garvey, we fought back. Let's find a couple of small battles that we won, physically, economically, and let's discuss them. Because always discussing how you are blown up and how you were destroyed, how is that going to build you up to make you say what we can do? Only thing it make us do is what we do now. Y'all did this to us. Cut the check, cut the check, cut the check, cut the check. We're foundation of Black Americans, and what we are going to do, we are American descendants of slavery, and and we want you to cut the check. And that's in everything that has happened. Everything. The reason why we are what we are now, because of how we see our past. We see our past as slaves. We see our past as nothing more than that. My lineage didn't start in slavery. My ancestors was something before they lost the battle. We have fought back here. It might have been a couple of small battles we won. The one I talk about the most, New Africa in Mississippi in the 1700s, now called Clarksdale, Mississippi, during slavery, when they defeated slave owners and the slave catchers, who was the Native Americans, when they defeated them and had them afraid to come in the woods, and they built a free society. They know how to get back to Africa, but we need those. We need that type of motivation, and we need that type of teaching, so we can say we can. I'll give the mic.
It's funny, you mentioned John Henry Clark, and he said in his quote, he said, sometimes white wannabes, let me say that again, sometimes white wannabes are more dangerous than whites, and sometimes will fight you harder just to be accepted by whites. I'm going to repeat that again. John Henry Clark. I'm going to repeat that again. He says, sometimes white wannabes are more dangerous than whites, and sometimes will fight you harder just to be accepted by whites. That's what he said. This is a quote. And I want to just to add what y'all said, that once have Biden started to cut funding from the historical Black college and universities, it should have been an all-out outrage. It should have been, you know what? We're gonna go and set an example. Just like those white folks that raided the Capitol, we should have had done some shit like that. Real talk. Because now you're stopping our children's growth. You're taking away the tools that they need to advance. So you're not going to take away funding from Yale or these white universities, or you won't take funding from them. Because I never read that nowhere. But you take funding from our children. Should have been an outrage. It should have been like y'all pretty much said, should have been some consequence. And I'm sorry, I'd never heard these black Democrat liberals say anything. They silent. Because it's not Trump doing it. It's the person they voted in office. But these people claim they got a voice. But when it comes down to our interests, there's quiet. There's quiet. There's silence. And then when you speak about it, you're the one get persecuted. This is the reason why I pretty much yelled at those self-hating bastards in Jersey. I said, y'all do not like black people. I don't even know why I even wasting my time talking to y'all. So one of them came, and he's acting like and I hate to use coonish. Oh, so who do you think we should vote for? Who you think you think we should vote for Trump? I said, Trump is not in office. We talking about your president that you voted for now. You voted for this. And they get mad. They're like, well, it's better than having Trump in office. So you rather see us go through, you won't see our conditions change for the better because you just don't like somebody. Not for you ain't gonna vote for your interests. And I realize that most of our people, the majority of our people don't know how to vote. They only vote who they like. I want to screen share this real quick. Because as you can see, I think Biden passed and that's another thing too. He passed this June 13th. No, I mean not June 19th, June 10th, something like that. It don't mean nothing to me. It really don't, and I won't celebrate it because number one, America already acknowledges that we enslaved you. We enslaved you, but we ain't cut no check. Now with me, then I wouldn't even accept it. You could keep that holiday bullshit. If you telling me you acknowledged it and you're telling me in my face that now that you acknowledge that you enslaved my people, but there's no compensation of the survivors, because I'm a survivor. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, they were victims. My parents, who grew up in that Jim Crow, because that was part of slavery, they were also victims. So if your parents are still alive and they've been born in the 1950s, and they had to grow up following these little rules, growing up, they are victims. I am a survivor. Anybody else after the parents from that time are survivors. I want people to understand that. But I want to screen share this because this Indigenous Day, people, I want to just show you this because I notice I don't see no black people in here. These people are not black. Remember they said the redskin was so offensive? These people are red people. See how reddish they are? They said they're red people. These are not black people. These are red people.
Those swarthy and dark colored people that Christopher Columbus saw.
These are the real indigenous people. And I don't see one black face with kinky hair in none of this. And they say feathers up. That's the new thing now. This is more like this indigenous gang now. Feathers up. Well, I don't know what the hell that means. Where's the black people? Brother McCarr, where's the black people?
Is there one in that blue coat? Is there one in that?
He's so bad, brother. He's so bad.
But I don't think those supposed to be the indigenous people. That's not just people out there supporting it. But you know, Indigenous People Day is also Gay Day and National Coming Out Day. See, they go one and boom.
Yeah, that's true too.
So if you keep sliding across and looking, trust me, you're gonna find a black person in there claiming they Indian. You're gonna find you a couple of them. We still here.
Nah, I don't see no. All them. No, I don't see none of them. No. I don't see one black face. I don't see one black face. But see, but see, I want to MG2 and Forecast and you, Brother Card. We are living in a transformation age now. Well, you could be transgender, you could be transracial, you could be trans identity. All this trans thing is coming out now. They don't know. Everybody hates science. All this is what you call pseudo identity. I don't see no black people in here. These are the real indigenous people. These are the real ones. So when you have these, I don't even see they said the copper people. Where's the hell? Where's the copper people? Where's the penny? Where's the people that look like pennies? Oh, these black people, Brother McCarty, these black people.
Yeah, them the people that they took to Africa, see.
Oh,
because the slavery was done in.
MG2 Forecast. What y'all gotta say on this, man? Because these Aboriginal Negroes, they say, oh, we're the copper color, we're the copper people, and we're the indigenous. I don't see no indigenous people here.
Yeah, MG2, you want to go first?
Yeah, I always ask myself, indigenous to what? And by whom? And more importantly, why? I mean, I just have to ask myself, when our folks talk about being indigenous to a land that, I say indigenous to where? What? Why? Who? and I really don't get an answer. I get a lot of conjecture and a lot of spiritual or ideological talk. But I have to say, look, I mean, can you tell me exactly where you're from and who is there and who's the one that? I mean, give me some details, and a lot of them just can't do it. I think, and I'm glad you brought this up, Brother Guy, when you were talking about the trans. The only trans that I recognize is a car back in the mid '70s. I always wanted to get one. It was called a Trans Am. That's the only thing that I could recognize. Anything outside of that, I don't even say transcontinental flight. Okay, that died out in the '60s. It's unfortunately what it is, especially with these indigenous, with the Moorish, whatever ideology our folks want to gravitate to. It goes back to what I was saying, not wanting to give the enemy consequence. It's a diversion. It's a way of trying to go ahead and bloviate, for lack of a better term, a point, or trying to be very, how can I say, very diversive. And when I say diversive, it's like, I don't want to confront the 800-pound gorilla and give this Peckerwood and others who have the honorary whites, I don't want to give them a bloody nose. So I'm going to come in and talk and say I'm indigenous or I'm a native or a Kemet or Moor, whatever. It's just a diversion from standing up, putting your fist up, and going ahead and doing what the enemy has done to you. Because the only way a bully is going to respect you is when that bully is in the hospital. I mean, other than that, if you don't put that bully down, he's going to come back over and over and over because it's natural, because it's easy, it's comfortable, it's expected. He knows where his source of money or his source of power comes from because it's a lot easier. We have been bullied, Brother Guy, for so long that, of course, an enemy will come in and say, all right, you guys didn't like Trump, who was just what I call a racist on the surface. He was just doing that as a negotiating tactic for his friends. Now we're going to give you the real racist, the one who wants to be Trump personified, Joe Biden. And he's going to do what he has to do. Remember, Obama took money out of black colleges when he was there and said, unless you guys allow other races in these HBCUs, you're not going to get funding. And so that's why you saw this enormous increase of other races going into HBCUs, because that was the only. It drove a lot of black college collegiates into. So of course the bully's going to come back and say, hey, this worked before. We were able to go ahead and shoot their 12-year-old in a park and nobody did anything, or shoot a 9-year-old on the couch while she's sleeping, nobody did anything. We were able to go ahead and claim that a sister who was on her way to a job hung herself in a Texas jail, even though we know that it wasn't suicide. But nobody did anything about it. Clearly, a bully is going to do what they got to do, and it will never end until we end the bully. And it goes back, and something Brother Bakari said that really, really resonates with me, because while you guys are talking, I always like to work out every chance I get. When I say work out, I'm always trying to perfect my fighting. I used to be a fighter back in the day. I used to work in a lot of what they call martial arts. But I've been out of it. So I'm trying to perfect my weaknesses. When I do uppercuts, shadow boxing, that's a serious weakness for me. The thing is, and when something Brother Bakari said that really like I said, resonated real well with me, is that a lot of times I won't say we're taking a victimhood, because we are victims. The thing is to go ahead and keep saying, cut the check, look what you've done to me, look what you've done to me, instead of going ahead and promoting our strengths. And that's something that, unfortunately, a lot of what we do. But there's something that is also a counterweight to that. It's great to promote your strength. The counterweight, me as a trader, because I trade markets, I invest. Matter of fact, thank God the brothers here were on the broadcast I did this morning, and I was able to make a couple profitable trades because they inspired me. The thing that I learned as a trader is you always work and manage your weakness. Is investing and making money. That's why these other individuals, the Jeff Bezos or whoever else, have gone ahead and excelled being exploiters of Africans. Why? Because they managed their weaknesses. I didn't say that they lived and they groveled in their weaknesses. They didn't go ahead, no man, woe is me, look at what you've done, we can't do this and that. What they did is they managed. We have a statement in investing. Manage your losses and your wins will take care of themselves. So of course, your strengths will always be your strengths. Never lose your strength. Go ahead and idolize and praise and celebrate your strengths. But more importantly than that is to manage your weaknesses. And that's something that I see that's happened to us as a people because of the fact that we have not gone ahead and said, how did we lose? We didn't want to, we like to say how we won. Look at what I've done. And it's unfortunate trait of black males is why we're continually losing, and we will continue to lose because we have not analyzed how did I lose? What happened to make us lose in Haiti? What after Jean-Jacques Dessalines after he passed? How did we lose the only country in the world that kicked out slavery? How did we lose the battle with Charles Dessalines? How did we lose Black Wall Street? We have not analyzed that and shored up those weaknesses to not let it happen again. We have not gone ahead and said, how do we strengthen to make sure we protect ourselves and we also attack those that did it to us? We look at what happened in Vietnam, look at what happened in Afghanistan, even in Japan. These individuals knew that they were with a greater strength of an enemy. We're talking the real art of war. They knew somebody that had more power. But Afghanistan in 20 years did more than black folks in 200 because they went ahead and they analyzed their weaknesses and says, how do we strengthen that? How do we exploit the enemy's weakness? How do we go ahead? Because they knew their strengths. They knew their alliances they had, whether it was the Yazidis, I keep saying it wrong, certain other strengths in certain clans. They said, how are we going to analyze that? And we're going to go ahead and exploit the weakness of the enemy and make sure we manage our weaknesses. Think of Vietnam. There were so many times the Vietnamese, the same ones that are beating up sisters in nail shops, were the same ones that were kicking this cracker's ass up and down the Tet Offensive. The thing is they knew, okay, we have an enemy that's overwhelmingly more powerful than us, but it doesn't matter. Power means nothing. If we know our weaknesses and we work on those weaknesses to make them strong, we don't have to sit back and say, oh, they beat us over here in the Ho Chi Minh Trail. They beat us. No, what they did is they said, where did we mess up? And we can't do that again. Mm-hmm. And then where did the enemy mess up? And let's exploit that. Unfortunately, because we're not managing our losses and only praising, I'm not saying all of us, but most of us do this, especially brothers. We're only praising what we see as a facade, which it really is our strengths. We're only going ahead and celebrating the wins, not going ahead and saying, wait a minute, we have some weaknesses. Because anytime you win, you know you have weaknesses, because in order to have hot, you need to have cold as a frame of reference. So therefore, we're not analyzing and saying, how did we lose? Why did we lose? Who did we lose to? When did we lose? What were the things that made us lose? Once we start to analyze that and shore up those weaknesses and say, now we know how to win. In the meantime, we're going ahead and saying, how did that enemy, not just praising our wins, but saying, how did that enemy lose against us? What was that weakness that made us win that battle over there in Haiti? What is that weakness of our enemies that made us go ahead and do this to them? Once we start to have that mindset in business and the so-called religion, especially education, because our youth aren't even seeing that anymore. Once we start to have that even in security and physical violence, until we start to think that and act that as a race, we'll continually be having discussions like this on a platform crackers own with data that they manage that we can't say certain words on, and they profit on it, not us, for eternity. I'm going to pass the mic on that one.
Man, I want to address some of what you said. You had said something about learning from your mistakes. It's funny. I like watching the NFL. I'm not gonna lie. I like watching football. Was watching football all my life, or most of my life, right? The first thing that when a team lose, well, let me say this, and I said this before. You notice every team rock the same logo, right? You have let's say you have your Baltimore Ravens, right? You have the same logo. Every team wear the same helmet, jersey, same, right? That's supposed to represent a nation. So when you say Baltimore Raven Nation, it's supposed to represent a nation. Because everybody come to now. Here's the funny thing about it. Each player has a different position. Like chess. Same thing with chess. Different position. So I might say, I might be the one that make cars. MG2, you might say, well, you know what? I want to, I work at a power plant. And all this is for our people. We have different roles to play. We can't play the same role. So, okay, you do this, but we all know that we come together. We represent a nation, right? We represent that Marcus Garvey flag, that Pan-Africanism where, hey, and it doesn't matter where you're from. You could be from England, but you're a brother. You could be from the islands, but you're a brother. But you know, hey, we all African people. So I look at football as a way to we can learn from football. So when a team loses, we go back and learn, and we watch the tapes and say watch the mistakes that we made. So when we play another team, we know we're not going to make them same mistakes. So I thought what you said was very interesting because I related to sports. Just like boxing, you lose a fight, you got to go back on them tapes and damn, what wrong? You shouldn't have done this because this person did this on you. So this time, we know we're gonna try to. Sometimes you might want to we want a rematch to see if that plan will work again. The new strategy will work. So we want, I know our people watch a lot of sports, and you would think they would learn from that and use that as a way to apply it on their lives. Because like Brother Bakari always said, and I think I believe Forecast said it, and you said it, that we are in a race. We are in a competitive state right now. Hey, hello. Who's this? Doctor.
What's up? What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good.
I heard you came on Alquan's channel. This is what you look like, huh? So
That's the
you
urban
don't look
Indian.
African at all, bro.
That's the herbal Indian. Oh man, come on, man. Come
so
on,
you
man.
not an African at all. You are the Kata Obuni, bro.
Huh?
You are Kata Obuni, right?
What is that?
You know what that means. That's African, bro. You a white man to an African.
Now, I want people to hear this. I want people to hear what these indigenous people. Now, again, I saw the indigenous people, and I don't see you in it. Where's your indigenous people? And then when you came on,
my indigenous people are the Muskogee Indians, bro.
So where are you? Where are you?
Where are your Africans? Where's the Africans that look like you, guy in Hollywood?
Show your face.
Don't tell him.
You look like a Caucasian guy in Hollywood.
Tell him to show his face.
Hey, guy.
Show your face. Show your face.
Hey, guy. Hey,
show your face.
Hey, brother, guy.
You would have saw it if you stayed on Alquan's channel.
Tyrone, hold on. What you gonna say, Forecast? Go ahead.
No, yeah, I just want to say something real quick before I go left, because I wanted to say something like to what they said, and then I'll be real quick or whatever. Then
all right, brother, go ahead.
Yeah, because I just wanted to say, MD2 asked a good question. He said, how did we keep losing? We need to start studying. And I literally went year by year through the history of just with like the system of white supremacy, to see how we lost. Like with the Haitian Revolution, it was the infighting. It was the mulatto class going at the black class, because they felt like they were the slave owners. And in America, a lot of the stuff was lost because of the infighting. They were actually winning, because we got to start studying history. We were actually winning a lot of stuff. There were a lot of successful things, you know what I'm saying? But it was the infighting that led them to destruction at the end of the day, because it didn't matter how many troops they had, how many guns they had, because black people like to say, oh, we can't fight against their class because they have this and they have that. It didn't matter. None of that stuff mattered when they was winning. The problem was they always got into the the infighting and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And people don't know how many times we were successful. It was a brother in 1900 named Robert something, he was being profiled because he was sitting in a white neighborhood, but he was waiting on black women, and the police rolled up on him the same way that they do today, profiling them. And instead of going down and getting shot by the police, he shot back and he killed the police and got away. He ended up killing like 30 something people before, they finally caught up with him. But guess what? It was a black person that told and said where he was so the police could find him. And it took a whole mob, to come at this brother. And to what Bakari said, what they was Anglo-Saxons, you know what I'm saying? Because the Irish and Italian, they were white, you know what I'm saying, like you were saying. And I agree with that. Even the pilgrims that came over here, they was the first ones to pass the law to legalize slavery, enslaving children. You know what I'm saying? But the pilgrims weren't considered the same. They were the rejects of European society.
Right.
But they found a way to get on the same accord over time so that they can exploit a different group of people. And you know what I'm saying? As long as we keep going at each other about our identity and all of that stuff, because guess what, a French person and a German person and an English person and a Dutch person, they've been fighting way bloodier wars than we could ever imagine. You know what I'm saying? They was the only ones to think of to use gunpowder for guns. Everybody else was using it for fireworks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they have fought way bloodier wars, but they found a way to say, oh, I'm French, I'm not different than the German, but they said, oh, guess what, we're going to identify under our whiteness to be on the same code. And that's the problem with history, because they've destroyed so much history on purpose, then control the narrative, control history, and they leave half truths in there to keep people divided and to keep people arguing about what's going on, instead of we're sitting here still hundreds of years later arguing about what type of cough we have, instead of addressing the flu, the real issue of the problem. We're talking about the symptoms of the problem. You know what I'm saying? And we make stuff
Now, what if I told
harder.
you if the symptoms was planning on sending you to a black ethno state in Africa?
Hey,
Forecast was still talking.
Tyrone, you can't.
No, it's all good.
Tyrone, you can't do that.
No, it's all good. He could.
No, it's not all good. Tyrone, you cannot come on I'm being nice, letting you come on and talk. You cannot come and interrupt. I don't operate like Alquan.
Yeah, but
anyway.
Well, like, because
hold on, forecast. Because sometimes you got to explain to these cats they can't be disrespectful. This is a constructive platform. I don't allow that. I'm being nice to allow Tyrone to come on. Now I'm gonna let Tyrone talk, but you can't cut people off. This not an Alquan channel. Okay? When you on your channel, you could do that. I'm being nice. Go ahead, forecast. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I was just gonna say, we make stuff way harder than it need to be. You know what I'm saying? And I know Bakari get on me all the time. My sister Blue, everybody get on me, and I'm not saying nobody in particular or whatever, but I'm not as hard on the coons as somebody else, because I see that as a symptom of the bigger issue. You know what I'm saying? And like MG2 is right. It's really a fear thing, because if we look on each other's stuff, we have all the smoke for each other, but we're not coming at our enemy, because guess why? They're going to make you pay. They're going to cancel you. That's the least of your worries, but they're going to put you in jail or murder you. But if you disrespect a black person, what's going to happen to you? Nothing. So it's easy, not only for us to come at each other, for everybody to come at each other, because there is no consequences. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you, the moment you start inflicting consequences on anybody who come at you, then you won't have to deal with the same issues no more. And I can promise you that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll leave the mic right there.
I agree with you. So I'm gonna let Tyrone give him his little 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna do my closing statements. So Tyrone,
I find it mighty disrespectful for you to go to Jabali Munene and snitch to him about we being disrespectful to you, because I showed you respect on Alquan's channel. It's just that I get in a heated debate. So at least if we're going to do something, we ought to get our genealogy together and connect back to the land. That's my solution, because just run into ethno state for ideology that hasn't worked for us for plenty of decades is not going to help us in the long run. Because anybody in this room explain to me how is immigrating to Africa going to help Black America as a whole?
Okay, I can. Okay. And now I'm gonna start with MG2 and let him answer that question. MG2, you want to address that?
Sure. First off, again, as I entered the room, I had to thank you guys for taking up your time, and definitely because this is your house, guy, and I appreciate that. When I'm over in Brother Bakari's channel on his platform, I have to thank him because that's his house, and I have to respect you in your house because you're giving me your time, which to me is more valuable than anything else. The last thing I'll do is come into your house to disrespect you, and I have to say this. I have to ask our new guest if that's basically the protocol when you go to your Indian festivals, your whatever, if you go into grandmother's house, chief, whatever's house, and basically, I won't say disrespect, but I'll say it's definitely lack thereof. If that's the protocol of the indigenous, for lack of a better type of people, clearly we as Africans don't need to go ahead and co-sign that. Clearly, we do whatever we do. We need to run away from that because, again, this is Brother Guy's house.
Co-sign what? Because
Hey, Tyrone,
for allowing me.
I'm not Tyrone. Hold up, MG2. Hold up. Tyrone, I told you that. I'm not going to say it again. This will be the last time you do that. You ask the question. He's addressing your question. He's addressing your question. Be respectful and let the man answer your question. And after he answered, you could go on. So, but these guys, I'm letting these guys to answer your question. You asked the question. So let the brother speak. Go ahead, MG2.
Thank you. There's a statement that I heard when I was a kid that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth so you could listen twice as much as you could hear and listen twice as much as you speak. Sometimes I don't do that, but I'm trying to learn. That's why I have to thank Brother Forecast with his wisdom, because when I go to his house, and I'm taking up his time, because to me his time is more precious than anything else, because I have to respect his life. I have to thank him when I'm in his house to be respectful. If this is how indigenous culture, whatever they call it, Native American or Algonquin or whatever they want to call it, if that's the nature of their culture, clearly we not only should run to Africa, but we should swim, teleport, or do whatever we can to get away from that kind of unfortunate amount of quote unquote respect, if you want to call it that. The thing is those who don't know who they are will never want to know who they are. So therefore, they're going to have any kind of facade or whatever kind of label. And that is the reason they do that is because it's cowardice. I always ask these folks that call themselves indigenous and I'm from this land or I'm from this tribe or whatever. I ask them, do you speak the language? And that is that language spoken globally? I have to ask them, do you still own those lands? The so-called Hebrew Israelites always talking about Israel. They're this so-called fictitious land that European Ashkenazis now occupy and control, and then beat up individuals that look like them, even if they don't want to call these Ethiopians African, they still look like them. I always ask them, have you gone back there and taken it back? Matter of fact, the same Ashkenazi Jews are kicking out so-called Hebrew Israelites of that place they thought was their own. So clearly, for some odd reason, irrespective of what ideology or whatever thing that they call themselves, it's not working out in their favor. I have these individuals call themselves Moors. I have to ask them, okay, are you over there in Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, Niger, Libya? Are you there taking over and taking control? Because clearly you have that ideology and clearly you have a militaristic need to go ahead and promote your ego, but yet others, Arabs, whites, French, and everyone else are taking over those lands and you're doing nothing about it. I have to ask, when I said, what are you indigenous to? And who told you you were indigenous? And what are you doing to go ahead and claim that indigenousiality? Because clearly those lands are not owned, controlled, monitored, managed, protected by you. They're protected by others that you fear so much that you're going to come up with some kind of false ideology. Well, I'm native, I'm Moorish, I'm indigenous, whatever, because you don't want to fight the individuals that, if it was your land in the first place, took it from you. I always have to ask that. And the reason I say that, it's those who disrespect the most, who show the least. Those who disrespect the most, who mean the least. Those who disrespect the most, who are the least. Not to everyone else but to themselves. That's why they run, and they will forever run from who they are. What we should be running as Africans is to who we are, and that is Africa. We should be running to what we are, that is Africa, both on the continent and to each other, because that's who we are, Africans. I'm gonna pass the mic to you, there, brother guy.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
guy.
Hold on, wait. Let me answer that. Let me
I
answer
know.
that
Hold
clown
on.
shit.
I know. I'm gonna say.
Because
I'm gonna let you.
wait.
I just want to say. I just want.
Hold on, stop.
Don't mute him yet. I just want to say. Like, can I ask him a question after he speak or whatever?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead. You can speak first.
Because I
Go
can
ahead.
hit you with the same thing what you just said, because you not in Africa, you still in America talking shit. And for one, we already got Negroes already on reservations. For example, you got Raymond Watson, Two Hawk Says on Instagram and Facebook, who's been to the United Nations and who has connections with indigenous tribes. You also have what's the sister's name that's related to Farrakhan? What's her name? Yanaza Lone Wolf Hill. So what are you talking about? You don't have any connections with an African nation. Not even West Africa wants you.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you talking about when you come at me with that shit? And with the language part, how come you receive Swahili from the FBI? How come you receive Kwanzaa from the FBI? How come you receive your Pan-Africanism from European ideologies like the American Colonization Society and the Royal Geographic Society out of London, which is also known as the African Association? Come on, make it make sense, bro. Because you can't just sit up here and criticize our ideology when you ain't even in the place that you claim that you from. So what are you talking about? Africa themselves don't have anything on their land, but they have other people going in their land and controlling them. So how you gonna shit on the Indian? Makes no sense, bro.
Because I'm not in.
Next question.
Yeah, can I do?
All right, okay, Tyrone. We're gonna answer your question. You gotta keep quiet. Okay. Forecast, you want to address that?
Yeah. Because I answer the question, and then I want to ask him some, and I want you to understand. I'm not for disrespecting no black person's ideology. I'm not coming at nobody's ideology. And to answer your question, when I say like I wouldn't tell you to go back to Africa. I wouldn't tell nobody to do anything. What I'm against is anybody saying that somebody else is this or that, and that's on either side. I'm not saying you, I'm not saying God, so but to answer your question is, like, it's not about where you are from. Like, if you want to stay here in America, it's not about that. It's about you building whatever you think needs to be built, and then coming together as a community so we can have the stuff that we need to have, so we can stop having these same discussions. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to build something here in America, then I think you should do that. I'm not telling you that you have to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. So you can do whatever you want to do, but I'm about, building whatever. Now, I do want to ask you this, like, do you consider yourself black?
I consider myself indigenous to this planet.
No, that's not the question. That's not the question.
That is a question. That is answering the question.
No. Hold on. Stop.
Wait, guy.
That's all good, guy. Let him go.
No, because that's not the question. The
Guy
question
Nollywood, I am answering your question. Let me
you
explain.
said I consider myself indigenous.
Guy Nollywood, can I explain? Bro?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
When you claim crayons, that just makes you an invasive species. We shouldn't even be calling ourselves these labels because that's what the European placed on us. What we're trying to do is connect to a specific ethnic group. Right. Africans don't call themselves black crayons. Mm-hmm. Example, they had an article asking Lupita Nyong'o, "Are you black?" And she said, "No. When I came here, I didn't see myself as a black crayon. I saw myself as my indigenous tribe in Kenya." But yeah, as for communication purposes, yeah, I consider myself a Negro, right, or quote unquote black. But at the end of the day, we have to look towards an indigenous identity, which my indigenous identity is Muskogee. What is yours in Africa, Guy Nollywood?
Hey, no, let me ask you. Hold on. So you don't agree with white either, right?
Absolutely not. We shouldn't even be calling ourselves non-colored crayons.
No, I'm saying like white people. I'm not talking about us. I'm saying like you don't agree white people should call themselves white either. That's not how.
Europeans are not white. They pink. What
I mean,
you mean?
they call themselves white though.
Just because they call themselves white don't mean all of them call themselves white. Some disagree with the connotations of calling themselves white, especially Europeans from Europe. They don't call themselves white. They call themselves, oh, I'm from Britain. I'm from Germany. I'm from France.
Right. Okay, so you don't agree with that. Okay, that's cool. I'm just asking you. Like I said, I'm not coming at your ideology.
All that homogenous clump shit, it doesn't work in the end.
So let me ask you.
People contradict. Wait. For example,
one more question.
For example, when you look at these white supremacists online, they even snitch on themselves because they promote like.
If you don't call nobody white,
wait. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of that homogenous clump of claiming that we all black, we all white. That shit fails because they contradict themselves. Like for instance, you got people that make memes online talking about they fetish for Asian people or something like that. You can't nation build with somebody that's contradicting their own fucking anti-miscegenation laws. That makes no sense.
All right, so let me ask you this, right? So are German people and French people the same, or are they different?
Absolutely not. They got their own specific ethnic group, which such as the French. They are known as Franks.
So do
the Spaniards are originally known as Anglo or Saxons?
No.
Right. So
no.
I mean,
hold on.
They got their own indigenous tribes,
right.
bro.
Okay, so hold on. Just one more question, and I'm gonna pass the mic.
Just
one more question, because I want to call it. So, all right. So, do French and German? They're different people, right? So, do French and German people work together to come at what I know you don't say you're Negro, but for communication purposes, right? So, do French and German people work together to do what they have to do against Negroes?
It's so.
I mean, do they or do they not?
It's a yes or no question.
It's a so.
Oh my God.
So they don't or they do?
Because they're looking out for their best interests.
Right.
But also
as a collective, right?
As a collective, to maintain quote unquote white crayon supremacy, but no, they're actually looking out for themselves.
But themselves, so they work together to look out for themselves, right?
Their own people.
So why don't you do that?
At the end of the day.
So why don't you? So I know you say Africans are different, right? And would you consider them for communication for purpose? Right, I know. Listen to the question. I know. Listen to the question. I'm agreeing with you, right? Africans are different, right? You know, okay.
Absolutely so different.
But would you consider them for communication purposes a Negro?
Absolutely, they are of you melanated hue.
Okay,
but at the end of the day, we are our own people, and we should look out for our own interests.
All right. So listen to the logic, right? So French and Germans are different, right? But they work together for their own best interests. Negroes in America and Negroes in Africa are different, but we don't work together.
Because they also have their own ethnic.
But they work together. But when it comes to quote unquote Negroes, for communication.
But at the end of the day, when what we have to do is look out for ourselves, we shouldn't be over in Africa.
But you're saying,
with ourselves. So how you gonna do something? How you gonna fix somebody else's house, but you can't fix your own?
You waste your time trying to get this dude to talk about dealing with other black folks. Let me say something right quick. First of all,
hold your thought, Forecast. Hold your thought. Go ahead, brother Carr. Go ahead.
First of all, he done already said on here and said he don't call nobody white. Then turned around and said they were white supremacists. So when people just start talking just to talk, there's no need for them to be here. Our conversation was something completely different. So if they don't want to deal with African people or Pan-African people, like I don't go to their channel at all, right? Why are they always around? You can't tell me I'm a damn no type of engine. I'm not an internet engine. I'm not a Muskogee. I'm not a Choctaw. I'm none of that. I know my ancestors come from Africa. So what's your purpose of trying to tell me?
Ethnic group?
What's your purpose Igbo. My name is Ikenna. So now I just answered your question.
Oh, you from Igbo? How you find that out?
Oh my God, I'm still talking. I answered the question.
Okay,
So
okay.
now, once again, the point is, what happened once again? Those type of people come in and change the whole conversation to start talking about a damn Indian. I'm not telling you I'm not telling you you're not an Indian, but stop trying to tell other people they are Indians. And Forecast was trying, Forecast.
I never said you were an Indian, though. I said check your genealogy. That's what I said.
Forecast, I'm gonna tell you something, Forecast. Trying to get people like that is something I figured out a long time ago. Some folks, while you build it, man, you just got to leave. Regardless if they look like you and you think they black or not, you just gonna have to let them go. He say he's not a crayon. I'm not a crayon either. They like to give the people that say they hate white folks or the white supremacists, they give them credit for everything. Because I want y'all to
When did I give white people credit?
Okay.
What he said was, that's white people who made people crayons. That means their knowledge is limited. They haven't went back far. They haven't went back far enough. You kicked them off, or he left?
Yeah.
No, I would say let him back on, like, cause like in Bakari, I don't want it to be like, cause I'm trying to prove nothing to him, cause like I said, people have their own ideology, but it's the people that's listening to actually, like, when people hear this kind of stuff, cause like people told me children listen to like the stuff that we say. That's why, like, when trolls come on my channel, I let them speak so I can like teach the real truth about it. You know what I'm saying? Cause like, there's a reason why he said, okay, French people are different than Germans, but we're different than Africans. Okay, but they were willing to work together to implement the system of white supremacy, but we're not willing to work together to get out of the system that we're in. So maybe that's the problem right there, that we are not willing to work together and we're still stuck in the position that we're in. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I was trying to say.
No, I understood what you were saying, but what I was saying is dealing with somebody like him is trying to get them to understand that type of person. It's a waste of time. That's all I'm saying. I know what you were saying. And to some people, that message may become clear to them, but they are not here for that. They are here to troll and cause confusion. That's the only reason. Peace, Sister Raw. That's the only reason they are here. I knew exactly what you were saying, and so did he. That's why he tried to avoid the question. He would never get a yes or no. He would just say so. He would just say that. Now look at this. Guy said we was going to do our closing statement. We were going to talk about the show, and look how they come in, and they have taken probably the last 15, 20 minutes discussing somebody who trying to convince you that you're a Muskogee Indian.
Exactly.
I had to show. I gave him 5 minutes. I said, I'm giving 5 minutes to talk his foolishness. I don't go like you were saying, Brother Booker. I don't go on these guys' channel. I don't do that. I don't deal with them. They talk their mess. They could do their, later for Africans 6 and 7 and 20, 100. They can do it. I don't care about that. We here. We here for business. We ain't here for games. Okay, we here to because this is what we need. Some real strong media. Now he's talking about genealogy or whatever, but this man don't believe in science, and he's talking all this Moorish talking points. Well, I don't consider myself black. I'm not a crayon. We already know that, but we live in a country that follows a color code, unfortunately.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because
I'm just saying this is the United States that follows a color code. Okay, a color code. So you look at the police. They call the boys in blue, right? They said blue lives matter, right? You have to talk about the traffic light. Simple as a traffic light. Red, yellow, green. Everything's based on color. So for a black person who was talking about these Moorish, I don't go by these Moorish talking points. That's all that pseudoism garbage. He's talking about genealogy, but genealogy is based on science. But they don't believe in DNA. So there's nothing to talk about now. Forecast just gets caught him. He said, look, You said these two groups of white people, they different, but they also work together for their self-interest to purify their race. He said, yeah. He said, so you mean to tell me we can't do that as a people? Oh, no. You know. In other words, no, Africans got to stay over there, and we black Indians got to be over on the other side. He ain't trying to unite. And that's the problem. And then when I went on the show, I said, look, why are we sitting there going back and forth? Let's come together. They don't want to come together. So it's gone. You do your thing. Because they not about building. And then if you look at their history, what have they fucking built? Please tell me, what have they built? What ancestors said they were herbal Indians? Tell me, who? Harry Tubman didn't say that. They trying to get credit. This moron said, oh yeah, we built your pyramids for y'all. What? So with proof. Show me some solid proof. But they don't have no proof. Everything is based on pseudoism. They talking about our people, I don't know who these people are in these reservations. I already showed you who the real indigenous people are. We seen the pictures, and I didn't see one black face. No copper color, nothing. And we already know the original color of copper is pink. Thanks to Brother Bakari, showed that evidence. So let's forget about that. We already squashed that. But this is something that Joe Biden, he loved this division. And this is the reason why he had this. This is what he's doing. All this is created by the enemy. All I'm saying, we gotta play like chess. We gotta play it like chess. We love these board games. We love watching sports. And just like MG2 said, we gotta go back on these tapes and find out the mistakes so we won't happen again. Yes, we might have to go back to the 60s and look what the mistakes our people did, and we do it, and then we already know what the mistakes this time. Like Brother Bakari said one thing about the Black Panthers. And he proved that the original Black Panthers started in Atlanta. And then
Alabama,
I'm sorry, my bad. Alabama, you're right. Then the our people in Oakland, they adopted it. And it went from Black power to power to the people. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And that was one of the mistakes that we did, that we was fighting for everybody. We should have just kept it for Black people. Kept it for Black people. We should not be fighting for everybody. This is the reason why when we fought to right to vote, next thing you know it, you got yellow people, red people, you got all these other groups, all these other races of people now, they can vote now because of us. And we should have said, no, it's only for us. Let them fight for that. We fighting for our interests. And that's what we got to do. I think that's the whole point I'm trying to say. When are we going to fight for our interests and let it be for us? And Brother Bakari, I got to commend you on this. Because I don't think, in my opinion, that Black Americans, those so considered Black Americans or Black people that think they're American, should not get no reparations. They don't. They don't deserve one fucking penny. And that's just me. I think the ones that we say that we're African people, because like you said, they enslaved Africans, not Black Americans, not indigenous people, because as far as I know, they was almost wiped the fuck out. And they already gave them their reservation. They already gave them reparations. So what the hell these so-called Black Indians, what the hell are they complaining for? Where's your native status? Because as long as you got your native status, you cool. You got your reparations. Go over there. We fighting for ours now. This is our time. So I'm gonna just go around to the round table, starting with Marcus Garvey 2, forecast, then I'm gonna end it with Brother Bakari.
Man, you guys,
last closing
I
statements.
gotta
And by
thank.
the way, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, MGT.
I'm
I'm going to
sorry.
say this. I already put your link in. Everybody subscribe to MG2, which is person kid 21. I already put the link in. I already put your link so people subscribe to your channel. Go ahead, MG2. Go ahead. Say your last comment. And
I have to thank you guys because again, I learned a lot. I learned so much because there's a lot, even in my quote unquote old age, I don't like to say that because I like to fight. I'm learning so much that I need to take and actually apply. And one of the things, and I'm glad that you had that previous indigenous individual, I have to ask myself, and maybe you guys can answer this, do they answer with the same answers when somebody asks them a yes/no question, like when they're doing an application and it says male, female? Do they say so? I mean, that's which question do you when you're in court in front of a judge that's not indigenous, like a white boy, and he says, how do you plead? Do you plead so? I mean, I have to ask myself that. I have to thank you guys because a lot of what is happening to the subject of the matter, Joe Biden, as Brother Guy said so eloquently well, and the wisdom of Brother Forecast and the reality that Brother Bakari is bringing to us is because we still are trying to find out, not just we, but I'm saying those that are quote unquote even indigenous, those who don't know they're not African or don't know they're African but don't want to be African, they still don't know who they are. Because of the fact that we're having conversations like this and have always had conversations like this, because this conversation was the same conversation we had in 1786. It's just a different day. Same conversation we had in the 60s, the same thing 20 years ago, and it's going to happen again probably next week. So clearly there's something of a vacuum of something that's either not happening, that we're not getting done. Because, again, this has been centuries we've been having these conversations. So I have to ask myself, again, I'm learning from you guys. I'm asking myself that clearly, if insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and trying to get different results, and clearly over centuries, we're repeating again, these conversations have been had forever, and the results are still the same of individuals that say that now I'm indigenous to some whatever, or that I'm a believing so-called President Biden or whoever else, that clearly for centuries have definitely never had our best interest. I have to ask myself, is insanity doing the same thing over and over, or is it called being black folks doing the same thing over and over and not calling it insanity? Not to say we're insane, because I love us, okay? I respect us and I love us because, hey, we are not only all we got, but every time I look in the mirror, I see you guys. So I have to tell myself, what do we do to change that? And it's quite simple. We know what the problem is. We know that the last vestige of a coward is to go ahead and have some kind of ideology that's not them. We call them Moors, Israelites, Kemites, indigenous, whatever. And then the last vestige of a coward is to cause confusion amongst those who really want to know their identity, which is, I'm so glad Brother Bakari brought that up so well. One of the things I have to ask myself is, now that we know what the deal is, hopefully we can proselytize, for lack of a better term, other folks that are like us, preach to the other folks that are like us, that can see the reality that Brother Bakari has given us, especially when it comes to Joe Biden, giving the wisdom that Brother Forecast has given us, because I'm loving his questions. I mean, I might be twice his age, but he's twice as wise as I am. And listening to the respect and the reality that you, Brother Guy, has given us, because I have a feeling if we start to spread our message, then that'll go ahead and reverberate into black folks, i.e. Africans, getting our own businesses, or I should say color of the crayons, if you want to call it that, getting not only our own businesses, we'll have our own militias, our own weapons manufacturing, our own farms, our own hospitals, our own researchers for quote unquote needles that get in arms that are not made by Fauci, our own whatever it takes. Hopefully that we could spread your words more than the indigenous, or even more than the sellouts and the assimilationists that love Joe Biden. On that, I'm gonna go ahead and again thank you guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and make that the last statement.
Forecast.
All right, yeah. Well, first of all, MG2, thank you, my brother, and you definitely a wise brother. I definitely listen to you, so yeah, much respect. And again, thank you, my brother God, for letting me on, and my brother Bakari. And I just want to say this, because I use them as a lesson to be learned, because people may not know some of the history, even because even when trolls come in, they bring some truth to what they're saying, you know what I'm saying? But the point is to get to the root of it. But of course, we're looking for every single reason not to deal with the real issue that's in the room. And like MG2 said, we had the discussion since the 1700s. There was conferences back in the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s on what we should do, where we should be, and there's been the same division, you know what I'm saying, time and time again. And at the end of the day, the truth is, it don't matter where you come from, because after the Casual Killing Act, after the law of 1662 that said if you was born to an enslaved woman, you were a slave forever. Perpetual means forever. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we grasp the concept of forever, because perpetual means forever. And they've been able to get us to fight over light skin, dark skin. They've been able to fight us over nationality, sexuality, everything but the real truth about who our enemy is. You know what I'm saying? We've never addressed the real truth about who our enemy is. Why? Because I think that is a deep fear thing that's been ingrained within us, because like you said, trauma is passed down generation to generation, and the rebellious slaves was made an example of. They would cut their heads off, put them on a spike for everybody to see. They would break them down, tie them up, and rape them for all to see. You know what I'm saying? And it's easier to come at each other about trivial stuff that don't have nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you just got to be the truth about what you are, and of course, when you're talking the truth, it's going to bring haters. And that's why we need to have our own platforms and stuff like that. We all can, like, we say all of this stuff and we do all of this stuff, but all of us can contribute whatever to create our own platform like YouTube, where we aren't getting censored, because they really lying about the numbers, how many people is watching, all of this kind of stuff. And we can all contribute to build all the stuff that we want to build, to have what we want to have, to do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, right, we'll have more smoke for each other. Like, if you close your eyes and imagine walking down the street, you know what I'm saying, like, if a black dude, God forbid if you have dreads or something, and a white tee walk past you, you clutching your purse the same way a white person would clutch their purse. You know what I'm saying? But a white boy, you probably put your head down and cross the street. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's extreme, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm not as hard on the coons, because I see it as a version of, I'll say, black syndrome, African syndrome, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't say Stockholm syndrome, because we ain't from no Stockholm, Sweden. You know what I'm saying? We all suffer from a version of Stockholm syndrome or African syndrome, black syndrome, to some degree, some more than others. And the minute that we can stop turning the guns on each other, fighting each other, because before we fought each other for blocks and the police roll up and kick everybody off the block. You know what I'm saying? Now we sit here and fight each other over dumb stuff that don't have nothing to do with nothing, because guess what? We're still starving. We still don't have control of nothing. And until you can feed somebody, then who you think is going to follow you? So now we just left with arguing about ideology. But I do think that the trolls should be used to teach lessons, you know what I'm saying? And I understand what y'all saying, because, like, I'm less harder on them, but it is what it is. I ain't got no problem with the brother. I understand, like, I'm not saying him even in particular, but a lot of us have a self-hate issue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us will fail the black doll test, you know what I'm saying? And then we wonder why we can't unify, But changes start generationally. We got to stop making this stuff spooky. It's not really spooky in a generation. You know what I'm saying? You see how the households are from one generation to the next. Right now, you see how kids now going to school, first graders, kindergartners, they got to wear masks to school. So that's normal to them. That's going to be a normal thing, them wearing masks to schools. But guess what? That's how easily you can change your circumstances, right? Where our children know a self-determination, self-freedom, starting generation after generation after generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it starts with you and teaching your kids the truth. So, I appreciate you, my brother Guy, and for letting me on. Shouts out to my sister Rolf in the chat. Shout out to Blue and Bakari and MG2. My channel is the Forecast Radio. YouTube be hating, so
Yeah, I put
I
the
don't
link. I
care.
put your link in the chat. In the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate it. But like I said, like all these channels be hating and stuff. They don't want you to hear what you got to say. So I mean, if we are mad enough to actually take action instead of fighting each other because we stepped on each other's shoes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, these people exploit us in every single way. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
true.
Name a way they exploit you. So why are you fighting your brother over some stupid stuff? You know what I'm saying? So it
Good,
is what it is at the end of the
good
day.
point. Good point.
Yeah, so I'll rest the mic with that. Again, I appreciate you letting me on, my brother.
Oh, anytime, brother. Anytime. We're gonna do this again. Brother Bakar.
Yeah, first, man, thanks for letting me on. Peace to everybody in the chat. Good being up here with my good brother MG2 and Forecast. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, man. I was just knew it was a waste of time talking to him.
Oh yeah, I understand, my brother.
The one time I went on their show, on their panel, that's what I said. We can have this discussion, but we need to figure out a way to work together. But since me and Guy was African, they laughing. They told one woman told me and Guy that we are illegal immigrants. We are on their land, breaking the laws. You remember the woman on there trying to speak Arabic and all that? We're on their land, breaking the laws that they wrote. We illegal. We shouldn't be here. Won't you go back to it? Because we are trying to steal their identity. That's how disrespectful that they get. And if I meet one or more who want to actually do something, want to try to help you with something, I have no problem. I reached out to Alquan. I've said that to Alquan. I even sent him an email, so he could come on my panel and me and him, we can talk. They don't want to do that. They want to do what they did. They want to change the conversation. They want to control it. And me, I won't even say they're being paid to cause confusion. They're just causing confusion. That's all they want to do. They're not like Yvette Carnell or Tariq Nasheed. They're just causing confusion. Yeah, it was some blacks here that mixed with Indians. We're not indigenous people. And that's what I was talking about when I said this feel-good fantasy. We're indigenous to the whole world type stuff. No, people say that to get away from being African. So then he answered and said, well, there were melanated people here with a hue. Every person have melanin. That's why I don't say that. I understand what black people mean when most black people say it, but I'm going to let you know. But when we look up the definition of melanin, everyone has melanin. Every race and ethnic group of people has melanin. Some may have more than others, but when you say melanated people, which melanated person are we talking about? Are we talking about the black melanated? Are we talking about the white melanated? Are we talking about the Asian melanated? Which melanated people are we talking about? Broad, ambiguous terms that group everyone together. It's no different than people of color. And I'm going to tell you something now, right? I always, for a long time, I thought the media started the term people of color. But the media didn't start saying people of color, trying to get black people to work together. That was black people. Tell you who it was? And I ain't Neely Fuller Jr., the person who they always, because that's who teach white supremacy. That's who teach black people you can't do anything with white supremacy. It's Neely Fuller Jr. and a sister, Frances Cress Wesleyan. That's who started that. Are people of color. And people of color should come together because black people can't do nothing with white supremacy on its own. And I'm not knocking Frances Cress Wesleyan. I think she was an excellent sister. But there is some feel-good stuff that she taught that we need to get away from. It was some stuff that she taught that just wasn't true once we start studying history on our own. And it's feel-good. Like they say when the white man, when they cut off black people stuff, right? When they cut off their genitals, right? It was because they were sexual. They could wipe out the white race and all that, right? Haven't y'all heard people say that forecast? MG2, haven't you heard that? That was the reason for them cutting it off. Y'all never heard that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we heard it. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna show you something. When you start studying their own history and you start studying Germany, It had nothing to do with wiping out the white race.
Mm-mm.
We have to start being honest. You know what it showed? It showed power. I can show you not only would white men cut off other white men stuff, they would literally eat their balls raw sometime. Yes, it had nothing to do with
Let me add on something real quick. Remember that's what the movie the Dracula came from, because there was a guy named called Vlad, and he would eat his enemies and, like you say, eat their balls and all that shit. This was in Europe.
it had
You're
it
right.
had nothing to do with black people can wipe out the white race, can turn everything brown. It had nothing to do with that. It was a man in their mind. Men were showing domination over men. We won the war, and there's nothing they can do about it. Matter of fact, when they did it, now we can take your woman and we can wipe you out, because we gonna show your woman how weak you are. It had nothing to do with them being afraid black people was going to turn everything brown. It had nothing to do with that. Nothing. When I talk about feel good teachings that have been taught, and we hold on to them like it, and we hold on to it so dear to our heart, it get to a time and a place that when you learn, and this is not me trying to knock nobody, that you have to show people, and we have to tell the truth, because feel good teachings is not going to get us nowhere. See, they come on here talking about don't go to Africa. Now, if he had to come over here and say Africa ain't perfect and y'all gonna have to do this and do this and do this and try to build up Africa, I would have agreed. But coming trying to insult, that's one thing. But not understanding that we need Africa. The whole world want Africa, except what? Guess what? People, black people. The whole world want Africa, and what they don't understand, that if we work together, and the people that want Africa, that want to be there, and we work and we get Africa, as a race of people around the globe, we can be like any other race of people. But instead, we will follow people like Kid and Samuels and say, you never fight up, you always fight down. Saying you don't throw punches at someone that's bigger and stronger than you. You always fight someone you think weaker. So who do black people think are weaker? Black people think black people are weaker. So they fight one another. Then we attack our women. There's a whole lot of changing. It's a whole lot of stuff that we have to do. There's a whole lot of truth that we have to start telling, so we can be on, so we can get better. Like when Brother Guy was talking about Fred Hampton, when I was asking Guy these questions, I thought, no, I wasn't questioning him like interrogating him. I thought maybe he knew when we was talking about the Black Panthers. Do anybody know why Kwame Ture left the Black Panthers? Forecast, do you know why he left?
No, why?
He left the Black Panthers because he said, and I'm telling you, I actually know his Libyan wife. Well, they were married. What is it called? Common law. I actually know her, call her sometime and speak to her. She lived about 5-10 miles from me, right? He left because they allowed other people in the organization. You can't even really mention, I'm talking about the Black Panthers from Oakland. You can't mention them without mentioning White Panthers, Irish Panthers, Asian Panthers, because they allowed all those people in the organization. And I try not to say these things because I know we hold a certain group of people near and dear to our heart. But since we being honest, I'm just being honest right now. He left and went back to Alabama, where the original Black Panthers come from. Black Panthers did not start in Oakland. That was a down south political organization, and also had a militia. Came from Lowndes County, Alabama. Watch this. But they put what happened in Oakland. I'm going to show you the power of the media, then I'm going to pass it to Mike, to Guy. The power of the media. So they put the camera in Oakland, California, and said those were the people fighting for you. The ones in Alabama didn't allow nobody in. The ones in Oakland allowed everybody in. Not only did they allow them in, one of their leaders, Angela Davis, was a homophile. You see everything what they put, what the media put in front of us for us to say this is great and this is for us. Then look what it did, and we accepted it and say it's a great revolutionary thing. We can say it was revolutionary, but they didn't believe in Garveyism. They wanted to be socialists.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to go to China. They were not trying to go to Africa.
That's right.
The ones in Oakland. Kwame Ture died in Africa. Kwame Ture knew what time it was. And I'm not saying everybody in the Black Panthers, and I'm not knocking anything they did. I'm not knocking their feeding program. I'm not knocking anything they did. I'm not knocking. But it's some lies about the organization that have been told that we need to straighten out. Because when we follow that, you can go online now. I bet you if you go on Facebook right now or go on, or you can Google the Asian Panthers, the White Panthers. Google all them, and
I've
you'll
seen
see
them, yeah.
how Huey P. Newton let them in.
Mm-hmm.
It was an Asian dude, is who they got all their guns from. Who worked for the CIA. That's how they got all of their guns, from somebody that worked with the CIA.
Sure. They showed that in the movie, yeah. They bought the guns from the Asians, yep.
Other stuff, personal stuff that I read and studied, I'm not going to even talk about it right here because I'm not trying to put anybody down. I just want us to know that there's some truth that we have to learn about ourselves. Not that we Muskogee Indians, about what the damn how the media has tricked us. KW Don 7 know what it is out there in Oakland, but if you look up the original one, KW Don 7 in Lowndes County, Alabama, LOWNDS, Lowndes County, Alabama, original Black Panther Party, you will see it, and it was not an integrationist socialist movement either. The one in Oakland was, but that's why Kwame Ture, when he left, he went to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be in Alabama and Mississippi. Yeah, I know his stepdaughter.
Wow.
I yield the mic. And thanks everybody for listening to me. I went on that little tirade because that one guy came on here, man, and I just had some stuff we had to say. They can come to my channel whenever, but they got to come and want to do something. If you don't want to do nothing, as soon as you get on here talking about, well, we need to start teaching people how to say hello and we can say how we no bye. Because the next show we gonna do manhood, my channel. We got to do solutions, and I'm asking everybody right now, if you can, study what you can in the transportation business, because I want us to come together and do a show on transportation, and I'm gonna let y'all know on that transportation industry. Well, y'all don't have to study the transportation industry. Whatever industry you see that's booming, that's growing right now that we can use, that's what we have to start doing. We need solutions.
That's right.
And learning to speak like John Wayne did on the cowboy movies. How? That ain't gonna get us nowhere. How? That ain't gonna get us nowhere.
Hey, Bakari, hey, you need to do that 4 Pillar show too.
Yep, I'm gonna do that one too. You know what I might do? Go live twice. Shit, I got to work tomorrow. Damn it. I might call in. I missed the day, and I like my check, so I'm gonna go tomorrow. Yeah, I might do one tomorrow night and then do one Sunday. I'll let you know tomorrow when I get off. I should be getting off by like 1 o'clock though. All right.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And we can all come on. I want to do a unity show on Sunday. I got a couple people I want to talk to. Plus, cause see, a dog day, he ain't like those. A dog, he's a Moor, but he don't get. We say we black. He ain't trying to correct us. I'm not calling myself no color. He don't do stuff like that. He understand we need each other. He understand that. That's why his ideology don't bother me at all, because he understands. But I yield the mic.
Man,
Everybody on the other platform, if you're looking for a work from home position, for a work from home opportunity, text our sister Blue at 804-250-1049. 804.
Just type it in.
250.
You can't type it in?
I'm gonna type it in here. I can't type it. I can type it in there, but it don't let me do as many words as here. But yeah, I text that if you're looking for an opportunity to work from home. Peace. But yeah, guy, you was up there.
Hey, guy, can I say one more
Yo,
thing?
man.
Just one more thing. Yeah, I just want to say, also, me, brother Guy, brother Bakari and Blue, we got the, you know, email us if you, trying to be a part of the movement that we're trying to do. Is db1list@gmail.com, THEB, the number one list, LIST @gmail.com. And, we'll set something up, what I'm saying? We're going to get everything together. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Appreciate it, my brother.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, brother Bakar, I won't be able to make it for your show tomorrow. If you're doing a show tomorrow, I gotta still celebrate my birthday, man. You know how that is. So I want to give
happy birthday, bro.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. It was yesterday. It was yesterday. So okay, he typed it in. Let me just blow this up. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, but I hope everybody enjoyed this program. I want to give a couple of shout outs real quick. Well, I definitely want to give a shout out. I want to thank you, Brother Bakari, Brother Forecast Radio, MG2 for coming on. I really appreciate it, man. Join this conversation. This was something that was, I feel that was very important and something we can definitely really, really get deep into. Let me give a couple of shout outs real quick. Shout out to my brother Keith Winston for coming through. My sister Catherine with friends. Thank you. Cuckoo Carter. Definitely subscribe to that brother's channel. Thank you for coming through. Sister Blue. Who else? Hope I ain't missing somebody. Oh, Sister Raw. The Underrated Darkness. Who else? Let me see who else. I don't want to miss nobody. Oh, KW Dawn 7. Shout out to you, brother. Okay. It says phones crash. Okay, no problem, man. No problem. I appreciate you coming through. Definitely, man. Everybody, all your brothers, man. Love your words. I've learned a lot. And like I said, I gave y'all a little entertainment with the indigenous cat. You know what I'm saying? Just get a little taste of entertainment, because that's all it is it's entertainment. But it's time to get serious, man. I don't get into all that stuff, all that crap, because I go by history. I go by science and history, and my whole thing is this: if you haven't done the field work, and if you're not a scientist, then I suggest people. I tell people you need to be quiet. You haven't reading a couple of books is not doing the field work. You got to be out there. You got to travel. You got to study, some serious studying to really prove your point. If you haven't done it and you're just sitting at home just reading a couple of little pseudo books, that's not going to do it. But yeah, I just want to show how you see the disrespect from this president and what he has done. And these so-called Democrat liberal black folks ain't saying nothing. And as soon as you speak out against it, here they come talking about, but what about Trump? What about Trump? Trump is not in office. You got somebody, to me, that's way worse than Trump. So it's just unfortunate. It is unfortunate where it's sad that you got black people is still practicing that escapism. They see it, and just like I think MG2 said, I think MG2 said this, how they will use just like the whole. I think either MG2 or I think Forecast. I think one of y'all said. I think if I'm not, maybe Brother, I'm not sure. One of y'all said this, but Forecast said he mentioned about the Casual Killing Act. That's still practiced today. That hasn't gone away. And they use fear tactic. They use fear. And how I think one of y'all said this, how they use torture chambers on white people. You know what I'm saying? So that's nothing new. And we can go back how during 100 years of lynching, how they use postcards, and they used to show our people being hung on a tree. You see all these white people gathering. All these white people gathering, smiles on her face. You see the little white girl, she's happy. Now, as a child, you should be frightened, but they brainwashed her. Now, as a child, I'm just saying, as a child, you should be frightened. But she wasn't frightened. She wasn't frightened. We already know who the enemy is, but we so busy. Oh, you know, we gotta hold hands and we shall overcome and all this other stuff. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. It's not. That's not a thing where we should be on some. We got to get along to go along to get along shit. No. Now I believe, like Marcus Garvey always say, I respect those that respect me. I'm not gonna go around talking about the cracker and kill Whitey, and I'm not doing all that. That is not, you ain't gonna hear that out of me. We all groups have what they call a natural born enemy, and is just the nature of law. Even from the tiniest insect, even they have a natural born enemy. The insect got to fight every day to survive. Even as an insect, they got to fight every day to survive. So it's just part of nature. But black folks, they don't believe in nature. They believe they into this make-believe, or they believe that Jesus would take care of it, which that's also a fictional make-believe fairy tale crap. And we was talking about Vlad, and we was talking about how the Europeans, how they used to torture other Europeans. And they put all that medieval stuff in the Bible. If you read the Bible, what's the difference reading the Bible or watching the Game of Thrones? What's the difference? And how I forgot what one, where I think they told David, was it David? How in the Bible, how he had to go back and get like 100, 200 foreskins or something like that. That means he had to cut penises and bring it back to the king or something like that. I think it was Dave, I'm not sure. But this is what they put in their Bible. And black people hold that to their heart. They hold that to their heart. That medieval crap. In the Quran, same thing. Medieval. European garbage. Babble. Forktales. That's all it is. So we got to get out this. We got to stop being pro-white. Most of our people are just pro-white. They hate pro-black, or they try to mix pro-black with pro-white. But they practice pro-white every day. They go out there and vote for the same slave owner. Every 4 years, they go back and vote for the same slave owner. So I want to show you what the black liberal Democrats have done. They the one who voted this pedophile in office. He's a pedophile. He's a pervert. I showed that. And he do not like black people. He don't like African people. Taking money from taking money from our schools. The schools that our kids go to. That don't bother people. That don't bother people. And they giving that money, giving to these Afghanistan, giving to these Arabs that don't give a damn about us. But that's his people because they're white. They're white. And I can't get mad at Biden. I can't. I'm not going to get mad at Biden. You know why? Because he's in his natural state. Biden is in his natural state. He's going to help people that looks like him. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that. He's doing what he's supposed to do. The question is, what are we doing to counter that? I'm not, and I refuse to be just black. That's not my nationality. I'm not an American, so don't call me no American. I'm African, all day, every day. Okay? Like Malcolm X said. He said, we're not Americans. We're Africans. We didn't come over here on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock came to us. And people forgot about that. But then you got black people from the Nation of Islam don't like Malcolm X. Or he turned on Elijah Muhammad. How did he was calling that man a traitor? How? This man was loyal. He wasn't the one working for the FBI, but it was people from the nation was. But people don't want to talk about that. But that's a whole nother conversation. But, and lastly, again, I showed the people of the real indigenous people, and there's no such thing as no black indigenous people. I showed the pictures and I haven't seen one black face. It's all pseudoism. It's all fake. It's all escapism. It's all, I'm afraid to be African. Africa is the richest continent of the planet. We the only race of people that don't want to have nothing to do with Africa. We rather be poor and complain. We rather be poor and complain. And we rather rob and steal and each other. We rather rob each other and steal from each other instead of doing that to the people who've been robbing and stealing from us. How's that work? All this, oh, I'm going to hustle him. We got to stop. All this, black people, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to end it with this. Black people only culture, the Black American culture, is a slave culture. The Black American culture is what they call a slave culture. Well, I believe in the one drop black blood rule. And they, you know, you always tell, because they lip always poke out. I believe the black blood rule. If you got one drop of black blood, that means you're black. Just nonsense. Everything that their oppressor taught them, they applied it, and they said that's their culture. These black indigenous people, they all that came from white folks. And you ask them, show me what you built. What laws have you passed? And I could show you what Africans people have done 10 times over. So in that case, I hope y'all enjoyed this program. I hope everybody that's watching, they said YouTube is acting funny. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. My brothers are saying that 200 people was watching, and I hope y'all learned something. If you please subscribe to my channel. And I just want to give back. I want to give back to my people. These people got these big, large platforms. like Tariq Nasheed and Sonettas and all that, and they're not giving back to no. But those are the hustlers, man. Those are the pimps and the hustlers. Those guys are just people that been see these people have been in prison. These are ex-convicts that just got some consciousness, and they gained a lot of people. Brother Polite gained a lot of people. Just gained. And that's not right. But people who are sincere, who wants to see change, who wants to go out and do something. And we need skills. Like Brother Bakari talking about the trucking industry. We need that. We need our own trucking so we can push our own products. Do business with our people in Africa. Do business with our people in England. There's so much that we can do. So we got us all this other petty stuff, and I already know who I am. I don't need somebody to tell me who I am. I'll go back with science. I am DNA. I am DNA. I don't need people to, I already check who I am. That's it. Check your DNA. Everybody else doing it. So with that said, family, thank you, Brother Bakari. Thank you, Forecast MG2. Thanks to chat for supporting. YouTube, some haters. That's true, man. 70 watching the wall. So wow, see? That's love right there.
65 watching on mine.
Wow, see? So it shows you that we are the most powerful voice on YouTube. We are the most powerful voice on YouTube. You want to learn something? Come to this channel. Come to this channel. And let's build. Help me build my channel. Help me build my brother's channel. Brother Bakari sharing forecast. Help us stay strong. Because that's all. I don't pull up the ladder. I don't believe in that. I can't live without my brothers and my sisters. Shout out to Erica Howard. She got a good business going. Shout out to her. Sister Blue. Sister Raw. Sister Raw is from Jamaica. I love my Jamaican brothers and sisters over there. Those are African people. Give a damn what their background is. I don't care about that. Because at the end of the day, our culture is similar. If you really think about it, all our culture is very similar. I don't care about none of that. I'm not into all that foolishness. Oh, you from the... I don't care about none of that. When I look at black people, when I see somebody from the islands or UK or whatever, if they're black, I see somebody that looks like me. And those are the people that, if I went to England right now, Brother Bakari and Forecast, if I go to England, guess what I'm going to go? Where black people at? Where the black people at? I'm going there because I feel safe. I feel safe. Even with all our issues, I still feel safe. I don't have to worry about somebody burning some cross on my backyard or throwing some feces or some banana peels. Or worry about their dogs. Oh, get away from me, dog. Get away from me. They got them dogs over here. Bad. Nah, I ain't going to do that. I had to get that in, Brother McCarty. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
Them dogs over there. Let me, stop. But let me end this. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace.